Well, hello and welcome to CirclemakersTV, the only show that comes on without the blue screen background working. There we go. It's fantastic. Wonders of modern bollockology. Well, don't know how many viewers there are tonight, but you're not going to miss much probably, unless, of course, you're interested in hearing my dulcet tones, because it's going to be me. All egoful me on the show tonight, because I couldn't get a guest. We did have one planned, but he has basically got another appointment on Wednesday now, and he's quite a well-known journalist, not in this country, but quite a well-known journalist in another country. So I will keep you guessing on that one, but he's going to come on in 2 weeks' time. So we'll have him for not this show, not the next show, but the show after that, I think. So we are still looking for guests. If anybody has any ideas of anyone they think would be a good guest, please let them know that we would like them, and we will get them on the show. So I'm going to fluff it out this weekend. Weekday. Oh God, that'll get Steve Alexander going. Look, he's just drunk all the time, I'm told on Facebook. I'm just drunk. And he's even accused me of flying my aircraft drunk. Yes, of course. Well done, Steve. You just pull that out of your hat like the mystery of the crop circles. Keep on selling the books, mate. Whatever. So I'm hoping that we're going to get some people Skyping in this week, and we're going to get some people in the chat channel. Now, for those who've never been here before, we've got this exciting thing called the chat channel. And if we go onto this, it tells you all about it. Live stream chat window. Well, it tells you the words live stream and chat window. Then I tell you all about it. Basically, you scroll down your web browser window and you will see a little window on the side. And that window has a white area where people are chatting. You can chat in that box. And if you want to give yourself a name, you can do. I'm not sure whether you've got to sign up to do that. And you can tap your details in there, press enter, and it will come up in the chat window. More on that in a minute. If you want to Skype the show, which means you want to get actually on the show with a microphone and maybe a webcam, we can accommodate you. Yes, we can accommodate this big. We have very broad acceptance of your broadband thing. Yes, you can insert it into our port 135, and we will gladly take you on board. So yes, if you want to Skype the show, just add us as CirclemakersTV, and then you can Skype the show. Let us know first by sending us a little text message, and we will be happy to have you. Also, if you want to go to the website for this wonderful show, it's www.circlemakerstv.org. And there you will find information and scandalous things that cannot be put on YouTube because people will have tantrums if we do. So that's where you go for all of that. Right. I'm going to talk about scandal this week. We're going to go into all the Facebook bollocks and Mr. Alexander's comments and things like that. I thought it would be quite fun this week. And plus we're also going to go into the farmers, because we likes the farmers because they all lives in Wiltshire, and they got all the land and it's theirs, and you can fuck off because the land is theirs. So fuck you, okay? So yes, we'll have a little chat about the farmers and their overzealous need for land and what that means, because it seems to mean quite a lot this year. with circles being cut out. Ooh, one was cut out this morning. Whether you know that or not, now you know something about it anyway. But this week we're going to have something slightly different on the show because if you are a user of the chat channel, then you can actually be recorded into the stream. Because watch what happens now. We have chat channel window. Oh yes, and no, it's not as ugly as that, and it's not going to be it's not going to be there during the show. What we're going to do is we're going to be very clever and make it do this, and then all the little comments that you you type in the chat channel will come up. So now you can start to swear, and you will not be censored, and it will be great. There we are, says Keith, laugh out loud, ha ha ha. Yes, so there we are. And this will be recorded into the stream so that anyone who is having a fit saying that their question hasn't been answered can actually say, there's proof it wasn't answered because I typed it in the chat channel and Matt was too busy talking, so it never got asked. The proof is there now. I just won't answer your question because I'm not taking an awful lot of notice. Best way to get me is to write in capital letters, Matthew, and then your question, and I'll be able to pick them out a little bit easier. So anyway, there we go. Right, well, we're just going to start off with talking a little bit about the farmers. Oh, I tell you what, no, we'll come back to that in a minute, because the farmers are up and down at the moment about crop circles. So they're not wanting people to go in their fields, but we'll come back to that in a minute, because some other exciting stuff. Oh, look, somebody says, wow, that's magic. And yes, magic of the blue screen in the background, you see. We have all the technology as it wobbles around in the wind. Yes. Right, Inquiring Minds. There's a website called Inquiring Minds, and this guy, I'm on this camera now, this guy who runs it, called Malcolm Treacher, he was included in a report called the 777 report, which was something that I took exception with because it talked about myself and said that I was a government agent, amongst other things. It's also said that I had worked for the MOD, and this was a fact. Although, you know, I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm the last person on the planet that would ever work for the Ministry of Defence or the military. But this didn't stop Mr. Andrew Buckley from putting this report together, so-called report, where he made lots of statements which were, well, let's put it like this, inaccurate. Would that be a polite way of putting it? Inaccurate, or perhaps even slightly libelous and a load of old nonsense? Well, one of the people who was featured in the report, and also a little extra set of videos were created by a guy called Andrew Perker, crop circle researcher. You'll be familiar with him coming on the show. He put some videos up on the internet as a sort of back interview to Mr. Andrew Buckley, the guy who wrote this 777 report. And in this video interview, Buckley states that he had seen a crop circle being made, and that the crop circle was revealed to him. I'm just going to turn the treble down because it's sounding a bit high there. The crop circle was revealed that it was going to be made in a field nearby to Alton Barnes, beneath the White Horse, I think it was related. And at the time, Buckley sort of went over to the area and spent some time it was either the next night or in a couple of nights, and eventually caught some people making a formation there, so he claims. Now, the reason he knew this was going to be done is because Malcolm Treacher, who runs this Inquiring Minds group in Pewsey and has the website www.inquiringminds.cc, I believe, he's apparently quoted as saying that there were going to be circlemakers there and that they were going to be working. Now, I've got a little reply here from Malcolm Treacher because I've gone into this to find out what the facts are. And Malcolm did briefly mention this to me last year, but I forgot what the details were, so he sent them to me today. And I said I would read them out so that it clears up this nonsense about Malcolm being involved in telling Andrew Buckley there was going to be a crop circle made. So he says, here it is again. I spoke to Buckley briefly on my way over to Horton. And member of his family lives in Horton, and he says, and I accidentally wound him up by saying crop circles are made by people. I honestly didn't expect him to be so hostile. We did exchange a few words of abuse, but nothing more. I said nothing whatsoever about any formations, people, times, dates, or places whatsoever. Nothing. Returning to Pewsey later, I noticed several cars and a bunch of people in the silage pit, which is on Eastfield, if any of you don't know that. That's where some of the famous crop circles appear. Anyway, I didn't see Buckley, but I must assume that he was still there. That's where Malcolm had met him. Being aware that things were planned in the area for that weekend, out of concern, and in an attempt to distract what was obviously a night watch, I pulled over and said something like, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking in the wrong field." Nothing more. I think some bloke shouted, "Where should we be looking?" I said nothing but shrugged my shoulders, as if to say, "Who knows?" and then drove off. Once again, I said nothing whatsoever about any formations, peoples, times, dates, or places. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing. So he repeats himself a bit there, but I've had no exchanges with Buckley for years, and you're welcome to report all or part of this as you think fit. Malcolm. So, according to this, Mr. Buckley's statement that being told where formations were going to appear, that's factually incorrect, according to Mr. Treacher. He never said anything of the sort. So Buckley's statement that he actually did attend a circle being made at the place where Malcolm had said it was going to be is not true. And this may be a good indication of why Buckley quite openly says in the video that was put up on YouTube, he says, well, I watched them and I decided I could ring the police. I could get it all stopped, but I decided not to. Now this does not sound like Andrew Buckley, because anyone who's been familiar with what he's been up to recently in getting YouTube videos taken off because they apparently defamatory against him and this sort of stuff, saying that it invades his privacy, when he's writing reports about other people which accuse them of things, like myself being in the MOD and all that. Well, that's not invasive to my privacy. That according to Andy is not invasive of my privacy. But when we start rebukking and counterclaiming his statements in that report on YouTube, we're told that we're being very, very invasive of his privacy. So I kind of love these double standards. But anyway, if Andy Buckley was there with his threats to get people involved with the police to try and get them arrested, his statements that he has been supplying information to the police and that there is an investigation going on behind the scenes to actually catch circlemakers, with him having that stance, do you think, having spotted people in the field and being in the field, watching them make a circle, do you think that a man like that, who's made statements many times, he wants to get the police involved, is just going to sit there and watch? Or do you think he's going to go out of the field, pick up his phone, call the police, and direct them to where the circlemakers are? What sounds reasonable? Now, I am just guessing here, but I would imagine the reason the police were not called and the reason nothing was recorded by Mr. Buckley on his video recording devices or his cameras was probably because he wasn't actually there and didn't see anyone making a circle. So basically what Malcolm would say would seem to make sense, because if he hadn't told him where a circle was going to be made, whether he knew or not is another thing, but if he had information of that sort and had passed it on, surely Buckley would have bitten and done something with the police. So I find it very hard to believe that. So that's the information on Andy Buckley. Right, what have people been saying in channel then? So GBZ says, what, no Agent S? Well, if you haven't been following the show, GBZ, you probably aren't aware that Agent S has sort of taken a little bit of a backseat on the old CirclemakersTV, because she's got better things to do with her life, unfortunately. So she's not going to be doing the show anymore. So you can try and coax her if you wish. If you have her Skype details or an email address, get in touch with her. But for the moment, I think we have to say goodbye to Agent S because she's otherwise engaged and wants to take a bit of a back seat on it. So what else are people saying in the channel then? Good idea, Matthew. White bird in a golden cage, says Keith. Not quite sure what you mean by that, but maybe you can explain a bit further. And if you're sending stuff in the chat channel for the bottom of the screen, make sure that you don't write pages and pages, because otherwise it will actually, sort of not be readable by people if it jumps up the screen. But, right, farmers. What are we going to talk about farmers for? Well, it's interesting that a couple of crop circles have appeared over the solstice period, as they sometimes do. And these circles have appeared near Stonehenge, and they have also been very close to where the police are, which is kind of interesting. Now, some people would say that the crop circles coming down near the solstice is obviously something to do with the earth spirits trying to communicate with humans. But it's interesting when you have a look at the designs, because I will show you them in a second, and you can tell me whether or not you think these designs are actually created by humans, or whether or not they're created by something else. So I shall switch over to my other camera now whilst we bring up some of these pictures, and we shall have a little look. So, right, I'm on radio mic now because I've got to do all this myself because I haven't got help. So let's bring up on screen some of this year's crop circles, and hopefully you can still hear me. I can see my VU meters going up, so I think you probably still can. Tell me in the chat room if you can hear us and see us okay and it's not clipping. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got crop circles here. Right, let's take out the chat channel for a second so that you can see the pictures properly. Okay, so this is the crop circle connector, and we're going down to this one near Kingston Coombs near Ashbury, Oxfordshire. And I have to quickly skip off Mr. Alexander's picture because he'd probably have a tantrum that it's his copyright. So we won't dwell on that because he's been bitching like on Facebook. So right, we've got this one looking a little bit rough and ready. Rough edges, as you can see, not very well executed. I would say possibly done in a hurry, or done by somebody that doesn't use proper tape measures, which we've suggested people should use in the past. But hey, what am I complaining for? The fact that there aren't many circles this year is only sort of illustrating the point that we managed to predict this earlier on in the year, something which I'm sure Michael Glickman is not very happy about, and Gary King, that the circlemakers have managed to predict that this is going to be a very quiet year. How did we know this? And the lower half of this crop circle seems to illustrate that possibly it wasn't completed correctly, because you've got these two little bits that don't seem to match the other sides, the two dots being different. So then we've got the next circle, which I was going to go on to. Again, Cowdrove Hill near Kingsomborne, Hampshire. So there we are, there's a Oliver Moriel picture. And this is Crop Circle Connector, which is www.cropcircleconnector.com. And on here you can see another okay, but it's not the most brilliantly executed design in the world. I would say that probably has the hallmarks of being man-made. You can see construction lines, which are the board's width, which you're probably familiar with now. I refer to this as combing. You can see combing effects in this crop circle. I'll give you a little example down here. Oops, can I click on that? And what have we got then? Control. Yeah, we've got some marks down here, which are sort of indication of combing, which is the method used to flatten down with a 1 meter wide board. And you can see the size of these people actually at the top of the image here. With what would be a 1 meter wide board would be, you can see the distance there across these people and the distance it would take for a 1 meter wide board, and you can sort of estimate that would in fact be the distance there for
comb marks. So that wasn't a bad one, actually. I quite like that crop circle, but still not the best execution in the world. Then we've got one in Lincolnshire, which apparently was quite well liked, but very much out of the way. I was told that I think I was told that this one didn't look that good from the air, though. It didn't look that good. It looked better at side angle, so you've got that one. So possibly that one's rough as well, but that one was liked by quite a few people. And then we've got this one at Stonehenge. Now these are the ones that appeared on the solstice night. So it was reported on the 20th of June. So it appeared sometime during the night. And this is quite an interesting one. Let me zoom out a second so you can see the whole thing in one shot. Oh, still not enough. There we go. So it's like a picture of a serpent, if you like. And this serpent has a head on its tail and a sort of head at the top as well. So and it's pictured on a cross. So it's like an S on a cross. And turns out that this is actually a band logo for a punk band called Kras. That's spelled C-R-A-S-S. Now, Kras were around, I believe, in 1974 to 1984, and they were playing in the UK. They had lots of these images of these snake things, and I'll show you some now in a second. They were basically one of the big punk bands of the time, and I'm just going to pull those up for you now, so you can actually see what their image of their band looks like. Now, okay, so we've got some of it here. Pop back to show you. There we are. So we've got. You can see down on the lower left, it says "Reality Asylum Shaved Women." Whatever that means. So that's quite an interesting interesting statement, and some of these are quite interesting logos, in fact, and these are all single artwork for the records, I believe. So let's zoom in a little bit, and it says Omega Tribe Angry Songs. That's the one bottom middle. Object, Refuse, Reject, Abuse. You've got Flux of Pink Indians, New Smell up on the top left, Nagasaki Nightmare, Big A, Little A in the middle, and Rudimentary Peni, Farce. So I think Rudimentary Peni is a different band, so I could be getting this wrong here, but anyway, there we are. On the lower left hand side, Reality Asylum Shaved Women. Let's see if we've got any more for them. There we go, that's another one. Sheep Farming in the Falklands. And it's got a crown logo on it, and it's in red, white, and blue flag sort of takeoff. So this is the artwork of this band. So yeah, let's see if I've got any more here. Actually, there we are. Kras Records, made in France. So I believe it's a record label as well, not just a group. So there was Kras Records as well. So there we are, and that one appeared near Stonehenge. So it just gives you a little idea that what you're dealing with here is something that's a human logo. Now, whether or not you want to think the aliens came down on solstice night and did that is entirely up to you. But I would suggest that that is pretty good evidence that that was possibly man-made. I don't know whether you agree with me on that, but I think that would suggest something, wouldn't you? Now, there was another one that appeared in the field as well. I'm going to bring that up for you in a second. It was in the same field. So it appeared on the same night. And it's this one. And let's go across to it. It's Stonehenge, Winterbourne Stoke, Wiltshire, reported June the 21st. And that was the 20th of June. So actually, no, it was on the night. Was it on the night of the Stoke? That was on the solstice. So no, they were on two different nights. Okay, but I'll come to the point now, which is the important bit. So it was done on, there were two crop circles appeared on two different nights. That was the first. Oh, why's that gone to that picture? That's the wrong picture. I'm sure I clicked on the right bit then. Hang on. Let's click on the picture. Maybe their link is wrong. I think they might have got the link wrong. Right, okay, so we've got this one here, which is an Oliver Morel photo. And this appeared in the same field further up the field. Now, the thing with this one is you can clearly see there's board marks where it's been flattened. It's quite a small design, but you can clearly see the board marks in this one. Now, which is usually a pretty good giveaway for the fact that something has been man-made. Now, you can see them quite clearly there. So, give you a little idea of what we're talking about. And this design appeared in the same field as the other one. So here you can see at the bottom that is that design. Zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Oh, just get it right. And this one appeared at the top end of the field up here. Okay, and this S formation appeared down the bottom end of the field. Now what's interesting is you've got this road here which cuts up from the A303, and Stonehenge is actually on the top right, basically. It's up beyond these trees on this side here. Now this that you can see is the car parking. Let me zoom it in so you can see that all the cars that wanted to come to Stonehenge on solstice night would have come up to this junction and would have been let in to this very long field to park so that they could then attend this solstice event. Now, this bit at this end here, where you see me move the mouse around, this bit was actually a police area which was used for bringing people in, and it actually had floodlights, and I believe the other parts of it had floodlights as well. Now, it's interesting that this crop circle, if you look at the distance here across this road into this field, which you can see me moving the mouse back and forth, the distance from the police standing here with floodlights, okay, police were standing there with floodlights and police cars, and supposedly they sometimes have these surveillance drones, but I think it was probably a bit windy that night because it was a very windy day the next day. So it's been quite high winds, and I just don't think they had the surveillance drones up. But anyway, whoever made this circle, which has hallmarks of being man-made, was very cheekily doing it very close, within eyesight distance of the police that were in this area. Okay, now also, these guys down here which did the bigger circle, this is a bigger circle, but again, you know, not that far away from where the police are, a little bit further down the field, but not a million miles away. And you'd imagine people walking along this road as they do to get to this area, to get to Stonehenge. A lot of cars driving back and forth on the road, and you can see how close the cars are to where the people would have been working, making that design. Yes. Now, it's quite ballsy, basically, isn't it? That's quite a ballsy thing to do, is to actually create a formation that close to the field, to the road, to the police. I think that takes a lot of guts, but it just goes to show you just how easy it can be to create a formation. You know, it's got the hallmarks of being man-made. Both of them do. One of them is clearly a symbol from a punk band called Kries, so it's obviously that's going to be man-made. I understand that the band Kries are very much sort of anarchy orientated, against the government and against things like Margaret Thatcher and stuff like that. So this is obviously a group of people who've probably got an anti-establishment, anti-government, anti-police message, and they just happen to be sticking it under their noses at that location, which has a lot of police, a hell of a lot of police on duty down in that area, and just waving it in front of their noses. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh dear, Mr. Police, couldn't you stop them? Oh, you don't seem to have been able to stop them. How terrible. Wow. So I think that's quite funny. I think that's really funny. So anyway, right. What have we got in the chat channel then? Let's bring it back up so we can see what people have been saying. Foreground, right. So we've got the chat channel. Let's have a little look what they've been up to. Apparently I'm coming through fine. I'm just going to cut me a hickory stick like Doug and Dave. Bet I could do better, says Keith. Okay. And Swim says the single circle at Stanton St. Bernard
with a complex lay looked nice. Yeah, I've actually seen that one. It was a simple circle, and it did have a complex lay, but it was just literally a circle, and somebody'd made some effort on the lay pattern. So yes, very good. I was quite impressed with the lay pattern, but I don't know whether the crop circle researchers have really, sort of done a lot with that and taken it to heart. So, we'll have to wait and see what they say about that, whether they like the lay. But there we are. So much harder trying to do this show when you just got one person, but okay. Now, across to the farmers after I do some snuff. Probably have Steve Alexander saying that's cocaine or something, but no, it really is snuff. It really is snuff. I am an advertiser for the snuff, so hang on, I got the wrong camera on. There we are, it really is snuff. Look, it's chroma key snuff. It has special magical properties that allow it to become transparent on video cameras. Chroma key snuff. Costs more money, that. So, right. The farmers. Well, there's been a crop circle appear in the East Field, and it wasn't there for very long, because, oh, hang on, yes, we've got one more. I'm just going to go to this Stanton St. Bernard one, because we were talking about it very briefly. There we are. Stanton St. Bernard. It's the one with an interesting lay. So there's lay pattern in this one, which is something that people are talking about. Doesn't stand out amazingly, the lay. It's not quite as obvious to see what's going on as something like the basket weave. That's not to say I'm slagging it off, but I mean, in a photo, it's not easy to see. It kind of looks wavy, but not the easiest thing to see, that one. Okay. We just check to see if there's any other oops. Oh, Christ. I'm trying to operate this with the left hand and the other one with the right hand not working. Right, okay. So, I take it I had that up on screen. Did I have it up on screen just then? Or not? Oh, I thought somebody just said we can't see it. Oh, shit, I forgot to press the button. That happens sometimes, especially when I'm working on my own. There we go. So, that's the Stanton St. Bernard one. And you can see it's just basically a simple circle with the wavy pattern lines in it. Okay, so I think that's the last one that's been reported on the crop circle connector for so far. Oh no, there's one at Westwoods as well. No, I haven't actually seen this one yet, so this one's news to me. Let's have a little look. Westwoods. It looks quite small because it's only going across 1.5 tram lines. So this is the one at Westwoods. Just take the chat channel thing off a second. So there we go. And I think I can see construction marks in it, combing. I think I can see those from this photo. Let's have a little look in a bit closer. See if you can spot what I mean. Yeah, and these sorts of regions here, you can see sort of line marks, and here you can definitely see board marks. Can you see them coming down? I'll zoom in a bit more for people who are having trouble seeing this on the net. But it seems to me like, you've got board marks in there. Construction. Okay, I suppose, but could be neater. It looks a little bit rough at the edges, but could be neater. But not bad. Not bad. Not that, considering allegedly there are no big boy circle makers out there at the moment. I would say that's not bad. So if there are, well, maybe this is the new crew of big boys, the up and coming big boys that are taking over. So yes. Right, the farmers. This is where I want to go with this evening. The farmers. Right, Eastfield had one this morning, and it was shaved out straight away. Tim Carson, who rents and manages that farm, and we shall come to this point in a minute. He rents and manages that land. He basically said to people that if there are any crop circles that appear on that land this year, that he would shave them out. And he would be very upset with anyone going on his land. So basically, when this formation appeared this morning, Tim was out very early on, and he said if anybody goes in there, I will cut it out. And true to his word, he saw a couple of people walking in there, so very soon after he was out with his combine, which at this time of the year I would imagine that's in storage. But no, Tim gets in his combine and fires it up and drives it through the village and then gets up to the field, and off he goes with his combine, chopping it out or whatever he did. I don't know whether he used a tractor or a combine, but there he goes, on his merry way, making his statement, like the circlemakers make their statement. There he is, Tim, bounding across the field. I'll get the bastards. Da 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 da. Bounding across in his tractor. Carving out probably 10 or 15 times more crop than was actually damaged by the crop circle in order to do that. So now Tim has taken it upon himself to make the statement openly that he will cut out circles this year. And Tim is the National Farmers Union representative, or certainly was in previous years. So he's been quite vocal on crop circles, but up until recently, he's always seemed to sort of put up with circles on his land, and he used to let them be. But I think this was to do with the fact that he was married to Polly, and Polly was very much into the crop circles and believes that they come from extraterrestrials and this sort of stuff. And she believed that she was selected and specially picked by whoever or whatever out there is making the crop circles for them to come down on her land. And because she was specially picked in order to receive the gift of the crop circles, she was very keen to keep them there and allow people to visit them. So whilst Tim and Polly were actually married, this meant that it was quite good news for crop circle enthusiasts, because they would be able to go and visit the crop circles whenever they wanted. Now that they're split apart and divorced, and Tim has remarried, this has had the negative effect on the crop circles, and possibly also circle makers talking about what they do and why they do it on programs like CirclemakersTV. Now, it's been accused that I am causing damage by having this show this year, and that I'm a one-man talking army on this. I do believe if you actually bother to watch, any critics that say that, if they bother to watch the other shows, which are on YouTube now, and as well as on some of them are on live stream, but they're all being archived across to YouTube, so you don't have to watch the adverts. If you go and watch those, you'll see that there are a number of circle makers there. And I would impress that some of those circle makers, whether they're on camera or off camera, have agreed to help with the show, and they are some of the best known circle makers out there. Not necessarily the team from London that have made a name for themselves and monopolise upon their publicity from the crop circle website they do, called circlemakers.org. We've not had any of those on the show, but the rest of the circle makers that we've had on the show are well-known circle makers and do go out regularly and have done for many years and made some of the impressive designs. I mean, you would have seen them talked about on the show. Now, anyway, this is Tim, by the way. Let's just show you Tim. So there he is, Tim Carson. Now, it's interesting that Tim doesn't want people making crop circles, and he doesn't want them on his land. But, strangely enough, this, taken from the internet, is a picture of him doing a talk for the Highworth Business Group. And it was on the 22nd of the 1st, 2009. And it's entitled, his talk is Crop Circles. And it says, enjoy a talk on stock markets, financial markets, and crop circles. And what do they have in common? Okay? But Tim's title for his talk is Crop Circles. So Tim Carson, that doesn't want crop circles on his land and thinks they're a terrible thing, is quite happy to go out there and give talks, to groups. Don't know whether he was paid or what he got in benefits for doing that, but quite happy to talk about it seems. So I think it's interesting that he's taken a position this year that he's going to shave them out, and yet, as we all know in the crop circle community, Tim has benefited many times from charging entry to the field for crop circles, and he has made a mint. He made enough money one year that they were boasting that they were re-roofing the local church with the money gained from entry to the field charging people sometimes £1, £2, even up to £3 to enter the crop circle per head, and having thousands of people entering the field and paying to go and see the circle. So, he was even able to take his family and some associated friends on a holiday one year. I believe it was quite a few of them. I can't remember. Where was it now? I can't remember where they went to, but I was told at one point. Hang on, if we got Agent S might even be in channel. Don't know. No Agent S in channel. She could probably tell us. I think she knows about that sort of stuff. But nonetheless, made a lot of money over the years with crop circles. But then, for reasons unbeknownst, deciding on other years not to bother charging people to go in. So deciding that they just didn't want the money from the crop circles. The money wasn't good enough. Okay, that's their decision, but people blow hot and cold with these things, and Tim seems to be somebody who has blown hot and cold. Perhaps because he represents the National Farmers Union, and so many people that are in the Farmers Union complain about the crop circles, don't want to actually charge money for people to go in, and have said that they'd rather have it stop. Then I suppose possibility that Tim has taken the stance that he will not accept crop circles on his land now, so that it's more in keeping with the National Farm Union approach, of which he was one of the the heads. That it's best not to have these things. So that could be a reason why he's going down this line. Now, there's been a number of farmers have threatened to cut circles out this year, and it will have possibly initially, I would imagine, the desired effect of stopping people coming on the land. But it does, as I say, it costs a lot of money to cut that crop out, and it's probably going to be a temporary sort of patch over the problem, because from what I understand about circlemakers' attitudes and the way that things work, there have been machinations about circlemakers actually going back onto the land of farmers that cut them out and putting several circles on that land, so that the farmers have to cut the 7 of them out. So I would say that it's going to be an interesting one. I'm not saying that circlemakers will do this, but they certainly talk about doing this. They may go back and do more, and that means that either Tim is going to have to be there at night, watching out closely to see whether anybody is in the field with night vision and stop them, or he's going to be shaving out the formations very soon after in the morning and shaving out quite a few of them. So this is going to cause a lot of tension, I would imagine, and it's going to cause a lot of lost crop. So we shall see how that one develops. I'll be interested to report on it when it does. Now, the reason that now this is me speaking. Now, bear in mind, I am not speaking on behalf of the other circlemakers when I make the following statements about my beliefs in farms and farming. This is me speaking. I don't actually like farms very much, because the farmers use practices which I quite often disagree with. Basically, farms are money-making cash cows, and they're ways to extract as much money as possible from the landscape using any legal technique possible, involving genetic modifications, which do happen, even though we're not talking about the ultra-genetic modification, which you will have heard about with seeds. Genetic modification has been going on in farming for a very long time, but just not gene splicing. Take for example the rapeseed, the yellow stuff you see. That rapeseed was genetically engineered to produce the types of chemicals that it does, so that it could be made into mustard gas. That's where rapeseed canola comes from. It was genetically engineered to be able to be turned into mustard gas. And that's why we see a lot of it in the fields, because people have continued using it after what it was created for. Now, it's known that a number of these types of crops actually cause allergies. This is not of any concern to the farmers whatsoever, nor is the spraying of the fields with chemicals, pesticides, and fertilizer nutrients that will basically enhance the growing speed of the crop, maximize the output from the field, but also leach into the water table, get pushed out down through streams and rivers, affecting the wildlife and the plant life in other places. It will also cause particulates, which are there when the crop sprayers spray the fine mist that they do down. The mist will be carried in the air, and it does deposit itself inside people's lungs, and it is ingested through the mouth. It gets on, it gets on all sorts of stuff, and causes major allergic reactions and poisoning, which the effects of which will not turn up and show up for many years, but might include diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's as possible side effects of exposure to these toxins, and also things like ME, things which are nerve degenerative diseases. And if you want to look up what these chemicals do, just look up the word Roundup, one word, Roundup, which is called glyphosate, which is a chemical produced by Monsanto, and we all know how nice Monsanto is, and that is used to spray on the crops to kill them off. Now, that's just one of them, okay? You just go and look that one up, and you'll see that it's an organophosphate, and these things are closely linked to Gulf War syndrome. So you go spraying these on the crop, gets into the crop, but we're told that it actually deactivates and is completely harmless. Yeah, okay, government, we always believe you when you tell us things. Yes, we are willing sheep, I know. But actually, some of the people that aren't sheep look into these things a bit further. They realise that, these things are actually quite dangerous, and they get into the food chain and the water chain, and we all end up a lot unhealthier because of them. But farmers want to use them, and farmers always want to use them because it saves them time and it saves them money, and it maximises the amount of money they can make. Farmers don't care about the effects as long as it's legal and they can get away with it. I've seen farmers handling Roundup with their hands. You're supposed to have face masks on, and you're not supposed to touch this stuff. It's quite dangerous. That's why the cabs of these sprayers and things are totally sealed, because you don't want any of this coming back inside the cabin. It's quite poisonous stuff. Farmers don't care. They handle this bloody stuff. Is it any wonder that some of them get ill in later life? But the other side of farming, which I don't like, and somebody's just said in Channel Keith, he says he's never seen a poor farmer yet. Yeah, I'd agree there. I mean, I've never seen a poor farmer. I've seen plenty of farmers with nice big houses and swimming pools and tennis courts and, and always got nice big cars and Range Rovers and spanky sort of stuff. But apparently it's a terrible, terrible industry. It's all dying and terrible. Yeah, right. Well, I don't see that down in Wiltshire. But the other side of it is you've got the agriculture, and then you've got the livestock. So the livestock is the other area of great concern, which people should be looking into. Now, anybody who's been watching the news recently should be familiar with the story about diseases coming out of Germany, which there's like bug diseases coming out, which are supposed to be attacking the kidneys and this sort of stuff. And where has the finger been pointed for this? Cows and the way farm cattle and farm animals are treated. And why? Well, the reason is because just like the fields, the farmers like to actually use chemicals to actually put on the animals and inside the animals so that they will maximize the growth. They have things called growth hormones, and they put them in the food and they inject them into the animals. This means that the animals grow faster and they grow meatier, but you don't have to feed them much more, but they just grow much quicker, so you can turn them over and sell them. Hang on, I just pressed the button on my watch. You can sell them a lot quicker and maximize your money. Of course, if you or I were to take steroids, which is basically what growth hormones are, if you were to take steroids, there could be some bad reactions to that. I think we've all heard about what happens when you take steroids. Well, similar things happen when you give them to animals. Also, some of the techniques used for maximizing growth in cattle are use of antibiotics. The side effect of using antibiotics, it's been found, is that you accelerate growth. So when the animals aren't even sick, they use antibiotics in cows to actually increase the growth rate. They're not even sick. But cattle, cows, do actually get quite sick because of the way they are genetically selected to have certain features that are useful to farmers. And this causes them problems which do actually then require antibiotics. Basically, if you've got a cow, which is like a Holstein, and I'll show you a picture of a Holstein now so you know what I'm talking about. If you've got cows like this, and I'm just going to have to load up some of these pictures to show you. Right, here we are. We've got some Holsteins for you. There's a Holstein. Zoom him up a little bit. There's a Holstein. They're the black and white cows you get in the fields. Okay? And you basically get them nicely castrated without anesthetics, using implements like this, which basically squeeze off the blood vessels and nerves around the testicles for the males. So they're castrated without anesthetics, and this is often done by farmhands, not done by veterinarians. So they've got a great life. And then they're genetically selected, in order to produce the maximum amount of milk. And that's why you see them walking around the field with these things. You know what these are, don't you? They're udders which produce the milk. And guess what? In a Holstein cow, a Holstein can produce 120 times the amount of milk that a normal cow would produce if it wasn't genetically selected. If it's a Holstein, it can produce 120 times the milk. Now, of course, its calf doesn't need that because that's 120 times more than the calf would need. There's only one out of that 120 that would suffice to, bring up or rear the calf. But 120 times. And of course, the cow's udders aren't naturally designed to take that weight. So what happens is, like you see here, they basically become distended, oversized, swollen. And as you can see, this one is extremely red because it enlarges the blood vessels around the area of the udder. And all this weight goes down into the teats, which you can see down there. And the teats are often swollen and become infected, as do the udders. Now, the infection is something that then you have to treat. So let's see if we've got the picture of that. There we are. So you have to inject into the teats with the lovely antibiotics. And you might even have to inject it into the cow, depending on how far the infection has travelled. But you inject it into the teats, and then you've got the antibiotics. And then they have to take the cow off milking because, of course, the antibiotics will come back out into the milk, which then is drunk. But guess what? They've got antibiotics in them anyway because they're being used for growth hormone purposes to make them grow faster. So they've got antibiotics in them, and then they have them in their teats. And this stuff does get into the milk. Basically, people drink the milk. We're all being dosed up with antibiotics that we don't need. And because we're dosed up with antibiotics we don't need, it means that we're resistant to certain bugs. We're not resistant to certain bugs because our bodies have stopped fighting them. The bugs have either learned how to adapt to the drugs and bypass them, or our bodies just aren't taking in the antibiotics and using them properly anymore because our bodies have adjusted to them and they don't work. And you can't just keep on taking antibiotics, but it's in the system, it's in the meat, it's in the milk. Okay, so these are the types of practices that go on at farms. Okay, and I'm going to just move on a little bit here. Holsteins, right, hang on. Here we go. This is reminding me what I wanted to tell you. Right, it's not natural, basically. It's not natural to have cows that produce that amount of milk. These cows can't live on their own. They cannot survive because unless they're milked by humans to clear out the milk, their teats and udders will be so expanded that they'll die. They basically cannot live without being milked. So they're not a natural animal that can live on its own. Often they can't give birth because there's problems with the reproductive organs. They have to have cesarean sections. And as you can see in this photo here, the teats of the cow are so far down and so near the ground, it's very hard for the calves to actually suckle off the mother. That's how unnatural all of this stuff is. And I bet you're wondering where I'm going with all of this. Okay, here's another little photo of things they don't tell you about cows. Sometimes when they've had bad birthing experiences, cows lose the nerves in their back end, so they don't know what their legs are doing. They don't know whether their legs are in the correct position, and because of this, it makes them hard to stand up in one place to be milked. So they just tie their legs together. So the cows have to walk around with these ties on their legs, and they have to stand in the milking parlours with these ties on their legs, and with no feeling in their back ends, because they've lost all the feelings in the back end. Because of the birth of very enlarged cows through deformed sex organs that they now have. So it's all very good, isn't it? This wonderful meat, wonderful milk practice that is today's society. And what I want to say is, basically, they do all this in the name of maximising money and getting the most out of what they can with animals. And this is the type of farming practice that goes on a lot in Wiltshire. Okay? It goes on a lot in other places too, but Wiltshire is very heavy on cattle farming. Okay? I'm seeing an awful lot of cattle sheds being created, and cattle sheds are places that you keep cattle indoors. You don't let them roam around the fields. And there's a lot of these being built in Wiltshire. Now, this is all very wide, and I'm sure you're going to say, and what's my point here? But the point is, if you or I were to go and say, can I build my house on a bit of land, please? You'd be told, no, you cannot do that because you don't have any land. You don't have any land, so you cannot do that. And you say, well, can I have some land? And they say, no, you can't. And you say, why can't I? And they say, well, because it belongs to the crown, and it belongs to the queen, and it belongs to people, and it's private. And you'll have to buy it. And even then, we won't give you permission to build on it, because we don't give permission to build on land. You have to wait, and you have to wait and wait, because you're not special. You can't build a houses on land. No, you can't do this. So the public are not allowed to have houses for themselves where they want. They can't live out in the countryside. They can't live like a farmer. They're not allowed to just plonk themselves in the middle of a nice area of countryside and have a bit of land. They're not allowed to do it. Why? Because they're just members of the public. But a farmer can turn round to the council and say, I want to create an enormous 1 kilometre long cowshed. It needs to have concrete floor. It needs to have metal struts all around the edges, and it needs to be fully enclosed. And I want some tanks for liquid food for the cows, and I want to have barn storage areas for the straw for the cows, and I want to have all that stuff, and I want to stick it right next to my house. And is that okay? And they go, certainly, sir. When would you like to do that then? Because farmers are given special privileges every fucking time to do what they want and to expand wherever they want. But you or I are not allowed to have land. We're not allowed to have it. Now, when somebody like Mr. Tim Carson, and I'm not picking specifically on Tim, but I'm just using him as an example, it's across the board with farmers. When people like Tim say, oh, don't want crop circles on my land, I don't want them on my land, his land. He refers to it as his land and my land, okay? When he says that he doesn't want them, what he's not telling you is that it's not actually his land. It belongs to the crown. It belongs to the queen. The queen owns the land that he is on. He doesn't own it. He rents it. He rents the land from Oxford colleges, and they sublet it down through to him and his family. So, when he says that it's his land and he's highly offended, what he is a manager. He's a manager of somebody else's land, and he has to actually pay rent in order to do it. Now, how does this come about? This comes about because a long time ago, some people who had things called swords and used to ride around on horseback and were trained for battle, I think they called them knights. I think they went around and they actually They actually used to sort of chop people's heads off and do nasty things like that. I think they call it war. Yes, they used to be involved in a thing called war, and they would turn their armies against the people of this country, and they would take the land back from the peasants that were living there, that had lived there for who God knows how long, generations of people that had lived on the land and looked after the land themselves, and they said, no, your land is now ours. It belongs to us. We are the royalty. It all belongs to us now. You peasants can fuck off. Fuck off, yes? Or you can rent the land back off us and pay taxes in order to be on that land. So you can pay us the rent and taxes for everything you produce. And of course, these peasants, fearing for their lives, had to give up their land to the crown and then have to be renting it back from them in order to actually be there. Now, I don't know whether Mr. Tim Carson is aware of this or whether he even cares about it, but some of us feel a little bit aggrieved that there's a very few amount of people out there in the world of farming and agriculture, in cattle industries, that seem to have a control of a very large amount of land, but there's very few of them. So this is very, very much the same state with the money in the banks and how much we're under control from very few people owning and controlling most of the resources. And this doesn't go back to the people. It doesn't go back to the peasants that are actually working on this land and forced to pay their taxes. It doesn't go back to these people. And my message to farmers who might be watching this show and might be incensed by CirclemakersTV and crop circles appearing on their land, is to remember it's probably not your land. And if it was given to you with a title, then you're very lucky you were given that title because it was taken off somebody else in order to give you that title. So just remember whose land it really is. It was stolen. That land was stolen. And if that land is stolen, circlemakers are stealing it back now. And that's my message to the farmers. I'm sure it won't go down very well, and I'm sure you won't like it, but it's like the travellers say, whose land was this? And they say, well, it's whose land is this? It was my father's. And they say, so you farm there? Yes, it's my farm, and it's your father's gave it to you. Yes. And where did your father get the land then? Well, he got it from his father. Well, where did his father get it from? Oh, come on, he got it from his father, and back and back and back, and he got it from his father. And I said, well, where did they get it originally then? He said, well, I don't know, probably somebody, some sort of kings or queens fought for it. He said, oh, they fought for it. They fought for it, did they? Well, I'll fight you for it now. And that's the bottom line on this. If you've been watching news around the planet, like from Egypt and places like that, where they've had corrupt governments that have kept control of them for a very long time and told them what they can think and what they can say and what they can do and how they can pray and what time of night they're allowed out and, all of this, which is what I call an oppressive fascist dictatorship, yes? We live in an oppressive fascist dictatorship in this country, but it's just not quite as barbed as in Egypt. And the people who run this oppressive fascist dictatorship in this country do a very good job of trying to make it seem like it's fair and it's for your benefit, when you're actually paying up to 50% of everything you earn back into the system for them to use the money to do things that control you. Yes? And these people that run this system are the very same people who represent the royal family, the lords, the ladies, the dukes, the duchesses, all these people who have titles over land, yes, they represent the system that stole it from people in the first place. Theft. It was stolen, okay? We all know it. There's no mystery about it. It's not talked about a lot. It's not highlighted a lot. But we live in a fascist dictatorship which basically, as far as I'm concerned, masquerades as a democracy. And we all know what democracies are in this country. It's two parties, that no matter what they say they're going to do, when they get in, they do the same thing as each other, which is not what they said they were going to do. And they might give you small concessions here and there just to give you the illusion of freedom, but basically, it's not fucking freedom. It ain't freedom at all. And I think until we actually get an uprising in this country and we do something about this, maybe even take the land back from the tyrants that took it a long time ago and say, well, we need to redress this balance, and we take the land back. And then when that happens in this country, and then everybody's got their allotted little bit of land that they've had given to them because of their birthright, when that happens, then we can say, oh yes, isn't it terribly unfair? These circlemakers on the farmer's land, causing all the damage to the farmer's land. Isn't that terrible? That they have to put up with these horrible circlemakers who don't do anything apart from steal their wonderful land, which is used for wonderful growing of crops. Yes, wonderful, wonderful growing with chemicals of crops. Isn't that great? So I say, fuck the farmers. Fuck the farmers. I don't give a fuck. I do not give a flying fuck about farmers. And even though I, had a house with a farmer who was very nice and looked after me, whilst I was there, bottom line is, it was Crown property. I was renting it from the Crown. And when it went back to the Crown, the first thing the Crown did was said to me, get the fuck out. Yeah, they couldn't wait to get rid of me. So the only reason I was able to be there was because a farmer looked after me and said, yeah, you can actually rent this property when it was under his guise. The moment the Crown got their fucking stinking little hands back on it, they got their hands on it, it was like, oh, we could charge much more money for this. Oh, get him out, little fucking peasant. Get him out, we can make much more money. Do you know what? They've removed all three of us from our houses, stating that they wanted to do them up and charge much more money rent. Those houses have been empty now for a year. They've lost about £10,000 in rent for these houses being empty. They didn't give a fuck about getting rid of us. Yeah? That's the Crown. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And we know for a fact that money that they were basically wanting to make from either doing up or re-renting those houses or selling them on, do you know what the money's going for? It's not going back into making new houses for other people to live in. Do you know what they're using the money for? They're building fucking curries and comets and buildings on estates so they can rent them to businesses, because the rates are much higher when you rent them to businesses, not to individuals. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So the peasants aren't even worth it now. They're not even... Peasants are just a waste of money, because peasants don't make you enough money. Businesses are where you're going to make the money now. So that's what the Crown is focusing on. Great. These are the rulers of the country. Great. Fuck them. Fuck them all, I say. Fuck them to hell. I don't give a damn about doing stuff on a farmer's land. I haven't made crop circles for a few years, but I tell you what, I got no time for these people when they're doing shit like this. Have a look at milkmyths.org.uk. Have a look at this website, milkmyths.org.uk. It'll tell you all about the dark side of dairy produce, about the cows that are treated disgustingly, about the pigs that are kept in tiny sheds so they can't move, about the sheep that are mistreated. And, if you want evidence of mistreatment of animals in farming, I've been looking up some websites recently. I typed into Google, as you do, Wiltshire animal cruelty. Got loads of interesting pages here. Bromham farmer facing jail for cruelty to pigs. Okay, and there's this farmer who's getting done in court because he let all these pigs die, and he basically had the bodies of the pigs there, and the other pigs were eating the bodies and basically living in flies and dirt and all had diseases. And he's basically taken to court, and terrible. The guy had already been banned once from owning animals ever again, and then he goes and gets a pig farm. Yay, because farmers get away with everything. The RSPCA are too fucking frightened most of the time to deal with farms. They don't bother. So anyway, you got that, and then you got a peer. This is interesting. The government's chief whip and spokesman on food and farming in the House of Lords, Lord Carter, was connected with Oldlands Farm near Everley in Wiltshire. Okay, and Oldlands Farm. Hang on, let me zoom this in a bit so you can see. Is it going to work? Whoop, it's thinking about it. Yeah, there we are. Oldlands Farm lived in cramped stalls without access to drinking water, and this was reported on Sky News. Many had died through heat exhaustion and related conditions. Lord Carter was a non-executive director of the company that owned the farms until 1997. He says he didn't know what was going on, but yet he made hundreds of thousands of pounds out of letting these people operate the farms in the shittiest conditions possible to get around having to pay for stuff. Pigs were kept in sweat boxes, as they were known. Yeah, concrete enclosures with no bedding and little ventilation. These were banned in 1995. And, basically, again, another Wiltshire farm. Wiltshire farmers. Yeah, great, okay. And here's another one. Secret filming in an abattoir. Woo. Secret filming by a charity, Animal Aid. In Wiltshire, again, showing sheep, goat and calf slaughter at F. Drury and Sons premises in Wiltshire. So if anybody knows of those, you just remember what type of meat you're getting from these establishments. F. Drury and Sons premises in Wiltshire. These guys were supposed to stun the animals and wait till they were basically shown to be dead and then bled out. However, it was common practice, Animal Aid says, and they've got footage to back this up, to leave animals in the stun pen for up to 3 hours before being stunned, and then they would slip around and they were unable to stay upright on the slippery floor and were filmed with their legs splayed out, just ignored by workers. And then afterwards, when they were eventually stunned, they were the heads were cut off whilst they were still alive, because it's not always it's not absolute that you actually will properly stun the animal. And these animals were having their heads cut off whilst they were still alive. I'm sorry to if this is freaking people out in the channel, but anyway, this is we'll skip on because that's rather disturbing stuff. I know that happened in Wiltshire as well. I just want to know something. And I wonder whether, I'm sort of hitting a nerve here. I mean, Tim Carson was the head of the NFU, National Farmers Union. Did you know any of these people, Tim? Ever been around any of these places? Ever had a drink with any of these farmers? Been to any little farmer do's with any of them? Don't know. Just wondering. Just wondering. There's a question for you. Wonder what Tim farms. What Tim seems to, Tim farms Holstein cattle, doesn't he? I think Tim seems to farm Holstein cattle. That's really strange. I wonder. Oh, it's just a coincidence. I mean, it's not like they're ever walking around the fields like this, with their udders hanging out, sort of way too far down, because they're just genetic monsters that cannot live without being milked and looked after, and basically if you get them pregnant, they're going to die unless you milk them. You wouldn't. Tim, I'm sure I've seen these cattle on his land. He seems to have quite a lot of them. He wouldn't be one of those farmers that went and used lots of chemicals on his land, though. Surely. Oh, hang on a minute. He used to farm the land himself, and he used to do it himself. But then, somebody told me this story that he sold the farm rights to actually manage the farm and to do the crop spraying. He got rid of all that. He sacked his workforce, his local workforce who'd been with him for 30 odd years, his loyal local workforce. He sacked them and he gave the job to a big agri company, a big agri firm that would promise 30-40% extra yields if they came along and used their special chemical spraying techniques and used their tractors and their combine harvesters. If he would go across to using their stuff, they could guarantee something like 40% extra harvest. And so he sacked all his workforce, employed them to use all their special chemicals on the land, and then it increased the productivity and the money, and then it was all wow. And when we got loads of money again, woo, let's go. Wow. Yeah, now I seem to remember that story. Yeah. It's a funny old thing, isn't it? Farming. It's really funny. Yeah, it's really a funny old thing. Don't know why people go on about it, all the hardship to animals. I mean, you've got to get your meat somehow, haven't you? Goodness gracious, where's it going to come from otherwise? Bloody hell. They'll be bringing it in from Czechoslovakia, where they really don't look after their animals, or bringing it from other places. They'd be shipping animals in aircraft next. Goodness gracious me. Why would they do stuff like that, isn't it? Anyway, there's me on my fucking high horse about animal rights and chemical issues, in order to illustrate the point that basically what we've got in this country is a fucking sham with our farming, and it's why people are getting more and more ill, and there's more and more cancer. It's more and more of this sort of stuff. It's because the chemicals we put in us, and we eat them from every direction. We eat them, we put them on our skin, we wash with them. We basically, everything in our lives is run around chemicals. And we wonder why we're getting ill in society, where there's more cancer than there ever used to be. And nobody seems to really want to do anything about it. It's like, no, if you say we need to go back to something more simplistic, you're treated like as if you're a frigging mutant, that you must have your head red, What the hell's wrong with you, for saying, why don't we just sort of like reverse some of this and go back to a more simplistic existence? No. That's absolutely, preposterous. You must have a screw loose if you say these sorts of things. And our lives are run by people who want these farms, want agriculture this way. They want to push more chemicals into animals, which will eventually get down the food chain. I say, who is running this country? The fucking madmen? Yeah? Or normal people? Yeah? Because animal rights people are accused of being nutters. Yeah? But who are the real nutters in charge? I think it's disgusting. So, let's have a look what people are saying in the channel, and also whether we've got anybody who wants to Skype in. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody so far. If anybody wants to Skype in, add the following to the channel, to your chat, to your Skype. I shall bring it up now. Add the following. It's CirclemakersTV. Add that on Skype, send us a text message, and then we can get you on the show and you can ask some questions or make some points. I'd be very interested if anybody wants to add some points to what we've been talking about this evening, because I think it's quite an emotive subject. I'm not stating that we should not have meat, although I am mostly vegetarian. I sometimes have my lapses when I can't get hold of food. I will lapse back into eating meat, which is a bit naughty. But generally, I am a vegetarian, and I do it for health reasons more than anything else, really, because I don't want to be ill. And quite often, eating meat has generally made me quite ill over the years. And eating vegetarian has made me a lot less ill. I'm quite sensitive to food, and meat is not good. Meat is not good. So, yes, tap some stuff in the chat stream, the chat window. Let's go back to the chat window. And we shall have a look at what people have been saying. So, on this camera, what have people been up to then? Somebody was saying about mad cow disease. Yeah, that was basically, as far as I'm aware, mad cow disease was caused, and this is not officially accepted, but I think a lot of people said, there's the reason why it never outbroke in the States, and the reason it outbroke in the UK was down to the amount of pesticides which were used on the cows. Basically, the company that invented the pesticides to pour, it's like pour on liquid. You're supposed to pour it on the back of the animal, somewhere up near the neck, where they can't get their, heads around to lick it. You pour it up here, and basically it'll go into the skin. It'll spread around the neck area and ingest. It'll sort of go in, and then that chemical will kill off the parasites and bad things in the cattle. So anyway, the company that invented this stuff, of course, they've tested it out. They've got safe guidelines for use, and they say the amounts and dosages that are meant to be used. So in the United States, the good little farmers, doing what they're told, they do the right amount of dosing. And they used to put like a little thimble onto the back of the cow, which was basically the preferred technique. That's what the company said. That's what they said was safe. That's what they did, and they didn't get foot and mouth. Strangely, in the United Kingdom, farmers over here were advised by the Ministry of Agriculture's Fisheries and Foods, or whatever they are, whichever organisation it was, they were advised that you just pour it on liberally. You just chuck loads of it on. Just fucking pour the fucking stuff up and down, and spray it on them. Just spray it all over them. Loads and loads of the fucking stuff. The more the better. The more you put on, the better it'll be. It'll get rid of it. Just basically douse the cow in the fucking stuff, yeah? And lo and behold, we had the foot and mouth outbreak in this country, and quite a few people were saying that it was connected to the organophosphates, because it was affecting the nervous systems of the animals, which is pretty much what happens when you do similar things with giving it to humans, i.e. Gulf War syndrome. So, yeah. Right. So, what else have we got? Has anybody said anything to Matt? Can't see any capital letter stuff here. Who have we got in channel as well? Let's give them a shout out, I suppose. We've got Adverbassa, Darthy, Dion, GBZ, Gonads, Gordy, Happy Stomper, Hedgedread, Ingrid Cold, Keith, Lol, Mad Hatter, Nightmare Bugs, Pixie Dread, Wraithy, Roger W, Shogu 7, Swim, Tom Bombardier, and Tango November, Third Wave, and Unix. So hello to Shugo as well. Hello, first time viewer on the show, and if he's watching, I'll probably cheer him up. So, yeah, what else we got? Right, we got some arguments. Somebody saying, Keith is saying, another alias, cheap words. So I don't know what they're quite talking about. Indrid Cold, shove off. So Ingrid Cole says, there is no London team. This is what they're obviously talking about. There is no London team, you bloody idiot. They moved away years ago. You know bugger all about this subject. What, there's no London team? No, well, Lundberg has apparently had a kid, and he's gone to live in bloody Cheshire or something like that, I was told. Yeah, Lundberg lives in Cheshire or up north somewhere now because he's had a kiddie. Congratulations on having the kid, by the way. Not that I like kids, but congratulations on that. I'm sure that's making your life really amazing and wonderful, as kids always do. It'll be all right with until they become teenagers, I'm sure. But anyway, good luck with that. Then there's Rod Dickinson, who apparently sort of pulled out, I was told, but, seems to appear from time to time when they're making circles for TV and getting paid for it. I'm sure I've seen him there. And then there's Will Russell. Now, Will lives in London. Rod Dickinson lives in London. John Lundberg was based in London and probably still trades and operates his businesses dealing with people in London. So I think when you call them the London Circlemakers, I suppose they don't make London circles because there's not much crop in the centre of London. They tend to, get in their cars and drive outside London to make circles. So if we want to talk, semantics here and, finicky stuff, then, yeah, they don't make circles in central London. Yes, but anyway, so Indrid Cold, which I believe is the name from the book with the Mothman, the Mothman prophecies. Indrid Cold, I believe, is the character that speaks to the guy on the phone saying, we got Sonia calling. I'll bring Sonia in a second. Hang on. Oh, she's gone. I'll bring her back. Indrid Cold, yes, he's the character from the old She's ringing. Let's bring her in. Hiya, Sonia. Hello.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Not too bad.
I just want to make a very quick comment because obviously you're showing the chat in the window here.
I am, yes.
And I would just like to say to Keith Walklin that, firstly, it's very uncool, Keith, for you to use both of my names. And secondly, I am not even posting in a chat channel at the moment.
Oops. Dear.
So, I would really, really would appreciate it, Keith, if you would stop it because it's uncool. And for someone who's supposed to be a Christian and all love and light, you are coming across as a nasty piece of work, and I really don't appreciate it.
Oh dear. I hope you were up loud enough then, because I sort of wasn't sure about the VUs, but I'm sure they heard it. Oh God, people are very uncool sometimes in the channel, but I mean, what can you do? What can you do? You can't. It's very hard to censor people, really, isn't it? And then you just get accused of all sorts of, like, who's the good guys and who are the bad guys if you start sort of censoring it and things. But I suppose it's a fair comment. If people use their aliases, it's because they're doing it for a reason, and it's not entirely cool, I suppose, to go revealing people's identities unless they've actually said, yeah, go ahead and do it. If they say so, then that's cool. But if they don't, then it might not be so cool. But
okay, well, I mean, that's fair enough. But I mean, the thing is Matt, is you have people talking in channel,
yes,
whilst you're doing your program, and they're talking in channel, and other people are reading it, and and you've got things like what Keith Walklin is saying at the moment, and he thinks he can just chuck it out and say that, and he's not backing it up at all, and it does affect people, and that's happening on your channel, on your show. So that is part of your responsibility as well, is that, CircleMakers TV is going on, and at the same time, you've got people who are just being downright nasty in your chat channel. And if that is what making circles and doing circles is all about, then I really don't, what is going on here, Matt?
Well, you'd expect people to behave themselves, wouldn't you? I really don't have the ability to, because I'm not a woman, you see, I can't multitask. So what I can't seem to do is I can't read this chat window and chat, because obviously I'm trying to pull a large string of information out of my bottom and keep the flow going, which is not easy to do.
No, I know, and I mean, so that's why
I need
Agent
to have
S was
Agent
good.
S. Yes, I know, Agent S.
But I think at the same time, Matt, if you're gonna run this show, you're gonna have to find somewhere to keep an eye on the chat window, because that is part of your show.
It is.
And and what and that is a much more personal part of your show.
It will be if somebody starts saying things naughty. Yes.
And okay, maybe I'm just a sad woman, but it does really bother me when I'm sitting here and saying nothing and really trying to stay out of it as much as possible. And I see people mentioning my name, and not just my first name, my second name. And I just, there has to, you have to draw a line somewhere. There has to be some way. If you've got someone in chat channel who's talking about someone else in that fashion, you've got to pick up on it. Keith, you can hear me at the moment. What is your problem with me? Because it's really starting to bug me. Why am I a liar and a deceiver? So spit it out, get it out of your system, and then we don't ever have to talk about it anymore. So come on.
Come on, Keith. Come on. Get it out. Get it out. We all want to see it. And we want photos and videos of it. Get it out now. Get it out. Say what is going on.
It really bothers me.
Why? Why, Keith? Why? Why you do it? Why you do it? Whatever you do, whatever you are up to, why are you doing it? Well, there you go. So we'll see what he says. He says, "Stop lying." Then what does that mean? Go on. What do you mean? That's you've got to, Matt. I've got it out. I'll have to read it all. I don't know. Has he got it out? I don't know. Do you think he's got it out?
I bloody hope not.
Yeah. My sense of humour.
All I think though is that there is a lot of negativity going on, Matt, and there's a lot of negativity going on around your show, and I've been watching Facebook today, and I've contributed a bit there, and I told you as well that I kind of really trying to pull back from it because I see it as a negative thing. I'm really finding it hard to understand where the final positive result of this whole thing is. You've literally got everybody fighting against everybody else.
Well, if that's what they want to do, I mean, obviously, I don't pick these people. They decide they want to come on, and this is the caliber of people that we seem to be attracting. I mean, if a fight is what people want, I mean, it seems to be that's what we're getting. In the chat channel. I'm kind of hoping that by this little record of the chat channel being done along the bottom, because I did say maybe it would be good. I believe that you may have kept some logs of the chat channel, and I thought, it'd be great to sort of like marry the two up at a later stage. And I thought, well, why do it at a later stage when you can put it live? But people are going to have to learn, I suppose, to kind of behave themselves a little bit, speak a little bit more respectfully. But at the end of the day, would you agree with me that it's going to be more fun if people say things that cause reactions and get admissions out of people, if there are admissions to be got, that's going to be more exciting, isn't it? If they do that, and then if we've got it, I know it's not going to be an easy one because you've been involved in this now, and in a nasty way, really, isn't it? Sort of bringing people's names out and sort of like naming and shaming when people are probably prepared to say a little bit more. If it's a bit more anonymous, then people will say more. That's why we have the face masks on the show, and we change the names because people have lives and people have, kids and responsibilities. But, if everyone's going to go, this is you, this is your name, this is who you are, then people are not going to say so much, are they? They're going to sit in the background and just keep themselves quiet, which is going to be a silly thing and a shame if they do that. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, Matt, because I just don't really I still don't understand what the whole point of this is. Okay, so everybody needs to know that crop circles are man-made, and okay, everybody can make up their own opinion, and yeah, okay, fine, crop circles are man-made, but where does it go past that? What is I mean, I've said it so many times when I've rung in, I'm sounding like a bloody stuck record. What is the point of it? You can't even post on report a crop circle formation because as soon as you do, everybody's like coming in, oh, blah, blah, blah. All I've just seen is a complete sort of precipitation of it's just kind of spiraled into everywhere. Whereas before, you had a circle, crop circle went down, people went into it, they enjoyed it. On Facebook today, there was this woman who was just saying, I don't even know if I want to go to Wiltshire anymore. All I'm reading is just this complete infighting and bitching and this researcher and that croppy, and everybody's just kind of totally at each other. And how is that a positive thing?
I think your chat of the negativity has brought somebody in that you might be able to see. Somebody's come in here. I will put it on. And she will say something to you now.
Hi, Sonia.
Hey, Agent S.
You have brought her back.
Yeah.
But she's going to talk about negative stuff now because...
Okay.
No, what?
She's going to talk about why it shouldn't be negative and how she thinks it's been negative, perhaps.
No, all I was going to say...
We focus too much on the negative, basically, don't we?
Yeah,
what
but you're
are you going to say?
responsible, Matt.
I don't know.
You was bad.
Yeah, I know.
All this attacking the farmers and
I know it's bloody awful. It's terrible. But I did say he's not the only one. But you can't
exclude yourself from all this negativity. Like if you got it, they've got a right to be as negative back.
Yeah, I mean we feed off each other. I mean at the end of the day, when it was aliens making crop circles, it was all fun and happy to have them appearing in the fields. But once the farmers know it's people, the farmers are like people, fuck them, then we'll cut them out. And then they start cutting them out.
That's not right, Matt. That isn't quite accurate.
And then circle makers go, well, fuck the farmers then. And then they stick 7 formations in the farmers' fields to sort of go, back at the farmers. And then it's like this, that's the way, I'm not saying that's good, but that's the way it kind of ends up, And then some of the circle makers did actually say in the end, they said, oh, maybe we've been blatting the farmers too much. Maybe we have been doing too much in their fields. Maybe we should do it outside the area. Maybe we should do it around the outskirts of Wiltshire and give the farmers a break.
Well, I thought you were going to do that anyway.
Well, not me. This is the circle makers. That was the idea. That's what they did. Yeah, And the circle makers have either held off doing anything like this year, or last year they went all around the edges of Wiltshire. They didn't do stuff in the centre. So
the problem is point scoring because you're attacking someone's livelihood. You're attacking the farmers and what they do for a living purely because you can't exercise vandalism in the area.
Well,
and I'm noticing, I have been watching the chat and people mentioning my private relationships that I had when I was like 20.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
really?
references in there tonight about my personal life, which I haven't spoke about for like over 12 years. And it's like, I mean, I don't care about whatever's in there. Bothered.
Sorry, have you paused your thing downstairs to give us the bandwidth back, by the way?
No. Did I have bandwidth, did I?
No, just in case it makes it smoother, that's all. But, yeah.
But my point is going to be that when people...
Try to divert her then.
When people... people like to point score. I don't fucking want that, do I?
I think Agent F...
Sorry, we do, and we distract.
So you're taking the piss out of me, right?
No, I'm not.
But I told you the reason I didn't want to do this is because of all this bullshit. And if you're going to blatantly attack people, and you're gonna, because this is what's going on. It's going on Facebook.
It is.
What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We're all supposed to keep it. We're all supposed to keep it, safe.
Lead by example.
And yeah, lead by example, right? I mean, what's the truth of why circlemakers aren't working this year? I mean, am I misrepresenting
I'll tell you
the
why.
truth?
Okay, I'll tell you why from my point of view,
Yeah,
why they
fine.
aren't.
Yep.
Okay, I would say that the vast majority of them, firstly, are sitting back, gasping at what is going on at the moment.
Yeah, with me and Circlemakers TV. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and not just Circlemakers TV. This has been a knock-on effect. Reporter crop circle formation, Andrew's,
Which wasn't me. Yeah.
No, I know, but
no, you're right. I'm just illustrating. That wasn't me, but that was before me. Yeah.
I'm just, you want honesty. The truth of the matter is that this all started when Facebook really started to kick off, and then Andrew was very much outing kind of this formation and that formation, and then he did a roundabout U-turn and he came to this conclusion, and then on top of that we had the whole Eastfield and people getting photographed and filmed.
Yeah.
It's just, I think there's a massive precipitation of far too much talking.
Massive precipitation
and
of
not allowing
fart.
other people to actually have their own experiences. And if people want to think I'm totally out of order for saying that and a liar and whatever, they can go right ahead. But
they're just winding you up.
I agree with Agent S. It's just literally people are just scoring points with each other at the moment.
Yep.
You are on Facebook with Steve and Karen and Julian Gibson and Stuart, and you're all just going yada yada yada. Whilst everybody else watches and just thinks, well, where's the crop circles in all this?
Exactly. Where are the crop circles? Not many of them out there, is there?
But you know what I think an example should be is when all this goes on, people have, even the people that don't like arguing, they still have a tendency to get involved. And it's like, when all that shit's going on, you either get involved in it or you cut it off. And, that's meant to be the reason why I'm not doing this, is because I don't want to be a part of a war, a slanging match between, ripping people apart on their personal lives. It's like, people, you're allowed to say that somebody's got a wild imagination and that they're, you could, that's the level of, debating that should be going on. But when people start really, effing and blinding and slating people and being really personal with each other, to me, that's hugely unattractive. I've got nothing to learn from that. I can't be a better person for that. And I think everybody else should be the same. So, are you still there, Sonia?
Oh, she needs an answer, yeah. Sorry. Hopefully she heard some of that. You must have gone down then, Sonia. Did you go down on us? Ooh. Can't hear her.
Connection lost.
Oh, just click call and see if it goes through. It might pick up now. But hopefully. Sonia, you there?
Hey, Matt.
I said, are you going down on us?
No.
No.
Yeah, okay. One day, maybe.
I mean, Tango November, he says, I'm full of crap. 3 cheers to William. I mean, the thing is, I think that, Tango November is that I actually get on very well with Matt. Because we hold kind of differing opinions on how it's going doesn't mean we have to be abusive to each other. We're actually, I would consider Matt a friend of mine. So all this kind of pitching one person against another is just ridiculous. It's not 3 cheers to Williams. It's like one point of view and another point of view, and you can have a conversation about it instead of just kind of all degenerating into being abusive.
Well, I don't think we're generally nasty to people that we have on the show. We just a little bit sort of direct about the way that we talk about people who aren't on the show, and invite those people to come on and have their right to reply. I mean, Steve, for example, has been writing some pretty inflationary things about CMTV and me, and saying it's terrible what we're doing and all that, and it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of self-interest there, and I see the hypocrisy of this, and I think that it's valid journalism to talk about the hypocrisy and the fact that people have an interest, and they tell the truth based upon a filter of what benefits them the most. So when I say that sounds really negative. because it is really quite negative. But what can you do?
Yeah,
You
but
know,
Not
Matt,
say it.
not say it, but then they get away with, being able to have their industries based on falsehoods, which, has gone on far too long.
But I mean, what motivation, Matt? I mean, is it actually making you happy? What is the motivation to sort of?
Not really.
I don't.
Doesn't make me happy. In fact, I mean, constantly sort of bickering with people about things is quite boring, really, because you kind of think, oh my God, is this where people are at? But I mean, I've had it for such a long time with my YouTube videos, where I was trying to sort of like tell people, look, this is how you can make a crop circle and all this sort of stuff. And you get it every single day from people who you've never met before, you've never heard of, and they've got such a strong opinion, and they say things, literally, you think I'm negative. I mean, like if I started coming on the show telling you what people tell me on the YouTube channel comments, a lot of which now I started deleting, it's like, you fucking twat, you haven't got a clue what you're on about. If you had a brain cell, you'd fucking this and that and blah 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 blah. And your mother, why the fuck didn't you go and fuck your mother and all this sort of stuff? You wouldn't believe the things that people write in my comments channel. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. The way that, because people are offended that people might be making crop circles, and they're like, fuck your dead mother, bleh, and they're like that, literally comments like that. And I've actually had to say to them, my mum's dead, so you're talking out your arse, and they're like, well, go and fuck your dead mum then. And it's like, oh fucking hell, all right then, nice one, dude, you're banned. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you do with these people? What you do is you create a television show like this where you say, well, okay then, you want to deal with the negativity of the fact that circle makers are out there, but you don't believe it. Let's have the circle makers on the show. We'll have them on the show. You can see what they're like. You can see what it's all about,
But
Just bring it out in the open. Because people have challenged me, you see. People have challenged me. Prove what you're saying. That's what they say. Prove it. Come on, prove it. And then everybody says, oh, well, having this TV show where you just sit around talking about it, that's not proof. I mean, it was like, what do they want? They want proof where they can get you in jail. That's what they want, really. I'm not going to give them that. But, I mean, these people are saying, come on then, you say all these circle makers. I've never seen any circle makers. It's just you. It's just you. And it's like, all right, then we'll have the rest of them as well then,
Well, I mean, Matt, really honestly, I suppose I look at it as that it's a kind of, a bigger picture than just you.
Yeah. She's made she's made crop circles.
It's I just think, well,
not many,
I understand.
but she's made crop
and
circles.
all legal.
Don't tell them that. Sounds boring.
Well, no, I'm not here to fucking big myself up, am I?
Yes, but she was out making legal circles. Still got her in a lot of trouble though, with people who didn't want to have it.
Who is this bloody Ingrid person anyway? Indrid.
Oh,
Indrid.
Telling me that I've let people down. It's like, hang on, you tell me who
They're
I respect.
winding you up. You've got to realise these people are on the wind up.
Yeah,
They just love it. They just love it. And if you react, they've won.
Shall I tell you that stuff don't bother me. What bothers me is the fact that because they're withholding who they are, I can't challenge them.
Yeah.
I'm losing. It's not that I need to defend myself. I want to challenge this person and say, like, do you know what I mean? And it's all these people.
Yeah.
It's like, rather than fucking, oh, I know something about you. Or let's lurk in the shadows and offer information out there. It's like, what is that?
Well, if they're going to offer information about you, I mean, surely you'd think they would be honest about who they were if they're offering up your details.
In the shadows.
Yeah.
So I want to know who this person is.
Yeah. You
so
would
I
like
can
to know.
them.
You might not get to, but you might like to. But, I mean, they might not decide to be as honest and as open as you are because you're on the show and you're being quite upfront with stuff and you're dealing with this chat channel thing and you have to because they're throwing it at you. But yeah, maybe not everybody is being as honest as you. But then again, I suppose we can't insist that people actually open themselves up. But if they're gonna come in this channel and they're gonna sort of put personal information, then they have to kind of be a bit more. They have to have a bit more front, really, don't they? Otherwise, just don't answer, just don't react. The thing is, they could say things in the channel.
No,
you just say
they've
bollocks.
told me who they are.
You just say bollocks.
They've told me who they are now.
Have they?
Yeah, and it's bothered me.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you point it out?
No.
But I mean, that's the thing, Matt. Things are said in chat and they do actually have an effect on people. It might just seem like pointless bickering, but it does bother people. And it does have a negative effect. And that's, you know...
But this is part of the nature of the programme, I think, is to deal with the gossip angle of what is really going on in people's heads, circlemakers and the people in the chat channel and everything that's going on. This is what stirs around in the background. This is the raw edge of what people don't want to face. This is what people talk about in pubs. You know what I mean? If you and I were in the pub, we'd be talking about the gossip of da-da-da-da-da, and this farmer's going to cut these circles out, and what do you think of that? And then you might say, oh, well, they've got a right to do that. And I might say, well, fuck them. And, you know, and it's like, so we'd be having this conversation in a pub. You know what I mean? But all we're doing is we're just elevating it to a public arena, and then everybody says, oh, it's terrible because you're just it's all this negativity. It's just the sort of things we talk about anyway.
Well, no, it's not. That's not correct. Because if we were sat round in a pub, a whole group of us, then, you know, I think in general people would be a lot nicer to each other, and you know would.
We'd be nice to ourselves. We'd be nice to each other. We just wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, I agree. If the people were there that are making these comments in the channel, they wouldn't dare say those things. But because we're talking about third parties, and in channel they're able to talk about it as a third party situation, they can get away with it, you see. And that's the dynamic. It's like we would talk about the farmers and we would go, oh, the farmers, bleh, you know, Mr. Glickman, bleh, you know, and how dare they say these things, and they've called me a bastard, and I heard you were called a bastard the other day for this, and you go, yes, it's terrible how they call me a bastard, the bastards. And then, of course, we're calling them bastards back. So, you know, we all do it. I think it's because we've made it public. We're kind of doing it in a public way, which I kind of find interesting, sometimes comical. Maybe not as stressy as some people seem to find it. But I mean, I suppose I've been dealing with negative people's stuff for a long time, so I tend to sort of wear it a little bit on the chin. Not always, as Agent S knows. As Agent S knows.
You can't keep a secret.
I can't keep a secret, no. I can't keep a secret. Can't keep
Right,
keep anything in.
You're a shit stirrer though, Matt. All this causes me fucking problems.
That wasn't. But you should have known that when you got involved, because you knew what you were getting involved with.
Well, no, I'm involved in presenting the truth to people.
Then do it.
No, but do you know what this is teaching me? This is teaching me that the whole reason people fluff things up and believe in aliens is because without something like that, all this does is expose the ugliness of people. People are fucking ugly. People are not full of love.
You're not telling me there's no Father Christmas. Oh, God. God, don't do that to me.
I've got nothing to learn from you now, have I?
What? You haven't got what? Sorry?
You know, I said when I look at people, when I spend time with people, I think to myself, what can I learn from this person? What positive things can I learn from this person?
Oh. Do you think we'd be in a better state now if we hadn't got you on the channel and I hadn't done this channel? Do you think we'd be in a better state now? I think we've had more fun and learnt a lot more by doing it.
The thing is, right, like someone was going on earlier about I should feel ashamed for living with you and whatever, and I think, well, fuck that. What? Surely I illustrate the point that a person can be friends with a multitude of different people, and the fact that I don't stand corners and say, do you know what, I'm going to protect them and fuck you, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that for anyone. Not the Carsons and not the Williams. I'm not going to do that for anyone. But I will challenge. If you're going to attack the Carsons, I'm going to challenge you on it.
Good.
And if the Carsons are going to attack you, I'm going to challenge them on it.
Good. Yeah.
That's me. That's me as an individual. And if people want to give me shit for it, all I'll do is push the button and say, right, see you later.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
That's what everyone should do, rather than keep fucking stoking the fire with all this ugliness. It's fucking ugly.
Yeah. It is.
She says with...
Sonia, get off of fucking Facebook, will you?
Oh,
I've been trying really hard.
Go on, lean back. She says with Michael Glickman blow up doll over her right hand shoulder. It's all...
Well, he's an exception.
Oh, there you go. See? There you go. Michael Glickman's an exception.
I've always said that. He's one exception.
He's all right to be... It's all right to be nasty about him because he's horrible, is it?
Well, I'm not really nasty about him, am I?
Okay, what do you mean then? I'm not. No, what do you mean about Michael Lickman? Because I'm confused now.
No, I'm saying that when it comes to defending and challenging, I'll
Yes.
do neither for him because
Ah.
one, I'll never get the opportunity to challenge him, and two,
Make him on the show one day.
he does enough himself to expose him as a not very nice person. So
Yeah.
that's why he's an exception in my mind.
Mm-hmm. But Sonia, what do you think about all that? But would you say that what we do is without value at the moment, or should we? How would you steer it then? Would you be more on the positive messages about the paranormal stuff, which I'd like to do? I just run out of opportunities. What do you think we should be doing?
Well, honestly, I don't actually know. I just have thought for a long time, as much as it's very difficult to say, Matt, because as soon as anybody says anything that's sort of against Circlemakers TV, so to speak, you have loads of people jumping all over you. I don't think that your show is a good thing, and I don't think that what is happening is a positive thing. I don't take any joy in Tim Carson cutting out formations and Circlemakers feeling the way that they are at the moment. I just don't really think it's a good thing.
I can't really hear her.
You can't hear it, can you?
No. But to be honest, Sonia, what all this comes down to is respect. I think this show deserves credit and respect in its in what it's about. But where it becomes unattractive is when Mr. Williams over here shit stirs and winds people up. And people when people are attacked and they don't get the chance to defend themselves, then oh cool, thanks. When people are attacked and they don't get the chance to defend themselves, it brings out the worst in them. And Matt's got a habit of attacking people and not giving them a chance to defend themselves. And so that's why the show is becoming.
You're in here on those now.
Oh.
That's why the show is becoming.
That's why the show is becoming ugly at the minute. It's because there's no respect. Nobody. Is she there?
Yeah.
I can't hear nothing on there.
She will.
Yeah. But that was kind of
I'm trying to multitask, not very good at it.
part of your
yeah,
your
what I'm trying to say
there.
is, it's all about respect. Thanks. Where's the volume?
There is no volume. You can turn it up on the remote there when you put them in your ear.
Yeah. Nobody. You name me anybody that is respected, because when you respect somebody.
Sorry. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm too distracted to concentrate on what I'm saying.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. I can hear it now. Basically, we should all set an example, right? We should all, if you don't like what's going on, butt out in it, yeah. And if you're gonna get involved, then you're in it for the long haul. If you're gonna go out and attack people, then you're gonna get attacked back. So, lead by example, And if
you attack, you're going to get attacked back.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
See, you're just a piss taker.
No, that's called funny. If you attack, you get attacked back. So who's attacked me over the years? Mr. Glickman. Do. So basically, this is a vendetta campaign, but it's a vendetta campaign for the truth, which is what some people have been telling me I should get back to. That's what they've been saying to me. You used to run the Truth Seekers Review, Matt, that magazine, and that was really good. Why didn't you republish that again? Why didn't you do all that? And I say, well, what the fuck do you think I'm doing with all the stuff I'm doing with the circles? I'm trying to give you the truth. I'm one of the only people on the inside who's doing something that's keeping ahead with the current sort of information. There probably there've been books in the past, but there aren't many outlets for this sort of stuff, and it's gotten out of control, really, hasn't it? With all these people saying, oh yes, it's aliens, it's the Mother Earth, it's Gaia, it's spirits, it's paranormal, it's all this sort of stuff, and they're making money out of it. I mean, somebody today was saying about Lucy Pringle, and they were like having a real go, saying, how dare she say that crop circles heal people. Because, of course, the next thing you're going to have then is people saying, I need to be healed. Which crop circle do I go in, Lucy? Or, well, I can take you on a tour, but it'll cost you £500 to £1,000 to £5,000. Take you around the special crop circles that I know will heal you. There you go. That's what I find. I find that dark, but that was put to me. Why? I should be exposing this, because if I was part of Truth Seekers Review, and I've been trying to do my best over the years to do this behind the scenes. This is where I'm at now.
But you know what, Matt? You're not the person to deliver the truth, and I'm only realising this now.
Yep.
Because you're too you use the truth as a weapon. So you're not the person to deliver the message.
Well, I make fun of the truth because I think, if you take it very seriously and say, well, what you think, then you're taken as a very sort of serious, dark individual that's out to cause, thing. And that's why I make light of it, because I don't want to be seen as this government agent that people talk about,
In some instances, it does come across like that. When you're getting really personal with people in their livelihoods and things, it's like...
Well, the thing is, these people that I've been slagging off tonight, let's say, for instance, Tim Carson, but, these people, right, at the end of the day, they live with what they're doing. They don't lose one moment's sleep
right, so
over
how much
what
sleep
they
do you lose then?
None.
Well, how do you know that, Matt?
Well, I would say they've got nothing to worry about. They've got no reason to worry about the way they operate their farms, because they're doing it the way they're told to do it by the government. So they're not breaking any laws. They're not being bad. They're doing...
I know, but Matt, 90% of us kind of at some point... we fill in our census. There are certain sort of constraints that we have to live by.
Yes.
There's a farm up the road where the farmer and his wife and his daughter absolutely bust their guts, and they are not making loads of money and driving around in Range Rovers. They're working really hard, and I go up there sometimes, and it's not as you're portraying it. You're making like this massive broad generalization. I mean, at the end of the day, do you not have, putting everything to one side, do you not have any sort of respect for Tim, because he has let circles stay on his land and he hasn't cut them out, and it's gone on for 20 years.
Yeah, but I think Polly was the big reason behind that, and I think that when it happened that they parted company, I mean, things started to happen. Started to happen on the land.
13 years ago they split up. Look at the circles that you've had 2007.
Yeah, but I mean, the predominance has been that Tim has allowed circlemakers to do commercial projects after they split up. Because I remember this happening. See, it's very personal stuff, isn't it? But I remember the time scale that when they were splitting up, then all these bloody cars started appearing. Like Mitsubishi cars that started appearing in the fields and things like that.
Years ago. 10 years ago.
It's years ago. But what I'm saying is that she was very receptive to this, and when they split up, part of the animosity of all that was like, oh, go on then, stick some man-made advertising campaigns in the fields. That's the reality of it. Is we're seeing a slow progressive move towards fuck you circlemakers from Tim Carson.
I disagree, right? Because what's happened is a circle's been cut out, and you've just said by your own admission, it's personal stuff, this. You've got personal. That's all that's happened. You're bringing up stuff that happened 10, 12, 13 years ago.
This is. I mean, if somebody wrote this in a book, I mean, they wouldn't be liked for writing it in a book, but at the end of the day, it is journalistic worthy material, because it's what's going on. It's what's going on. It's what everybody knows. It's what everybody knows
10
years ago. And that's what I'm saying. It is journalistic worthy because it's what's been going on.
This is no different than what happens in a relationship. When you and your boyfriend have an argument and one brings up all the shit from what you were like when you first met to what you're like now. It's like, that's all that's happening here.
Yeah, but I think...
How's that journalistic? It's personal.
Well, I'm not... I mean, I don't feel anything when I'm saying these things. It's not like personal to me.
Maybe you should.
It's not personal to me. It's personal to other people. But the point is, as an outsider standing on the sidelines looking in, I couldn't help but think to myself, well, if I was Polly, I'd be really pissed off right now.
Why?
Because she believed it was aliens, and now
Why focus on that?
Her other half is like letting people
again,
put Mitsubishi
it's
cars in the field.
You're focusing on the negative aspects, like, I'd be really embarrassed if that was you. Now that you know that they're all man-made, that's personal. You shouldn't be promoting that.
You say I shouldn't be promoting that.
Yeah, you should be talking about the circles, what you get from what they're man-made.
Yeah.
Go in a circle and tell me what you feel.
Well, it's all part and parcel of the thing for me. I mean, to me, it's got journalistic merit. It's things that we know, and this stuff is not removed from the public domain when you read about it in other places. And these people are in the public domain. They're public people. This is public information. And at the end of the day, if they're not public people, then don't be the head of the NFU. You know what I mean? And it's like telling people that crop circles are made by aliens on your land and they came down specially for you. It's like that Polly is promoting herself. With that sort of stuff. So to me, if they're promoting that sort of stuff, it's like, well, you tell people the full story. You go into the background. Well, who are these people? Where do they come from? What do they do? At the end of the day,
it's got nothing to do with Polly anymore. She's not actively involved, is she? She's got a project that she's in with the barge in now.
Yes.
Tim, he's put his foot down and he said, look, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's personal to him. I don't want circles on my land this year.
Yep.
If you do it, you've had the warning. If you do it, they're going to be cut out.
I think he's entitled to do that, and
but you're
I don't blame
him for doing that. I'm just saying that's a bad advertisement.
No. What I'm saying is that farmers cry foul of having things like crop circles on their land, and it's like, oh yes, my land, I'm going to do this, but it's not really their land. Yes, it's not really their land. It's actually land that was taken off other people in the first place. So we.
But it's not really. But it's not really your land when you go out and make a circle.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the Queen's land. So therefore, I'm quite happy to do it on the Queen's land. I'm quite happy to piss the Queen off. And just saying, oh well, Tim happens to rent it now, and it's like, so he's paying the bills for it. So you're pissing him off. I'm pissing her off. That circle that appeared down near Stonehenge, that thing, the crass punk band, they're like anti-government, anti-establishment, anti-monarchy, anti-Margaret Thatcher. You know what I mean? Somebody's put that right next to the police that are letting people into Stonehenge, and they used to have battles. The police used to have battles where people were getting smacked the fuck out of, right, when they used to go down to Stonehenge to celebrate solstice, yeah? And now they're being allowed in there. Yeah, and it's like, how daring is that? They're putting this crop circle right next to where the police are. They're just going, fuck you, police. Well, that's pretty daring, I think. That's like, that's like superhero status. But if you look at it the other way and you say, well, that's some farmer's field, that's negative, you see. But if you say, well, I think that's fucking great, 1-0, yeah. But if you say it the other way, well, it's a farmer's field, that's his livelihood, and his family and all that sort of stuff. You say, oh, fucking, what about his family? Fucking hell, there's only one crop circle. What's he whining on about? You know what I mean? Okay, Tim has had a lot on his land, but he's cried foul, in certain ways when he's made lots of the money out of the crop circles in the past. It's just he doesn't choose to anymore.
He's made lots of money. You said this earlier, like
well, you were
trying to use me as an ally. I had a holiday. I openly admitted that and I didn't say it to advertise that I remember I chose my words very carefully.
Yes.
I don't believe that they make a lot of money out of it at all. I think they lose money on it.
Well,
I don't think you've got. Remember, I said to you when you were charged in court. I said, look back on the episode. You'll see what I said. I know exactly what I said.
Go on then.
And I'm just saying to you that.
You have to remind me. Go on, exactly what you said.
I said that they did have a holiday that year. I was charging out, I don't know how much they made. I think it was about £3,000 over, about a 2-week period. Don't quote me on it. And as far as I'm aware, that was the only one that they made money on. I said all of that in the interview. And I just felt that you were trying to use me as an ally, like how you said it earlier. Like, oh yeah, where's Agent S? If she was here, she'd be able to tell me how much they make on it. Like, I do not, go walk around acting like that. And I don't want people to have an idea that I do behave like that, because I don't. I work very hard in trying to be very positive, trying to be, defend people. And that's the message that I want to come from me. And if I'm fighting this at the moment. If people insist on, just being so unattractive and just bullying each other and targeting each other, then I'll just wash my hands of it. In fact, I'll probably just fucking move on, to be honest with you. I've got nothing to gain from it, and I won't be losing anything by doing that. But if I feel that people can fucking shift forwards, and learn something, and
But I think Agent S, that a lot of people feel that way. I mean, I think that's the real big issue here, is that you're not alone in feeling that, and why are you feeling that, and where has that come from?
Well, maybe we do talk a little bit too openly about things on this channel, but then I've always said, really, I'd rather bring things out rather than keep them in. That's me personally. People get offended.
Like Tanga November. Right, bye then.
What's he said?
Exactly.
Good idea, Agent S. Bye then.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
that's exactly what I mean.
That's a wind-up, isn't it? Yeah. Don't bite.
But to me,
Don't bite.
You're wrong to think that it hurts me or offends me. All
just
I'm
got better
saying
things to do.
is, I can speak the truth, I can challenge people, but the people that insist on being unattractive and with ugly qualities, I'm a threat to them. So, of course, they're going to say, oh, go on then, fuck off. In fact, I'm going to try and wind you up some more so you will fuck off. That's the sort of people that we're dealing with.
Yeah. So if you go, then I'm going to be out of control, aren't I?
What do you mean?
Well, because I am apparently out of control. So you're the balance, you see. You're the check and balance against my fucking
I do see myself
nasty,
like that.
evil character.
No, you see, you're taking it out of context.
No.
You are. You do this.
That's what some people say about me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're not quoting me then?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
God. Got to be careful what I say. Very specific. Very specific. But Agent S, see, I was just about to... Agent S is a good balance, and that's why I miss, that sort of other side, the other side to it, because, I mean, it's... What can you say? I mean, I'm just I just walk in one direction. I'm like, right, this is what I heard. This is what's going on. This is what I think. And if there's nothing to come back properly at that, like a guest... What do people expect? Of course, it's going to get a bit negative, but I mean, I'm just working with what I got. I've got all this information around me and all this stuff that comes into me. And I mean, I don't know these people well enough to, really care that much about how this stuff comes across, because I don't know them. And, at the end of the day, if I did know them, I probably wouldn't say it. It's like we were talking about earlier on. If I was with them in the pub, I probably wouldn't say it. But at the end of the day, I might... Because I'm a bit like that, I might.
Do you know what I think the problem is? I think you can pinpoint the problem very easily. It's the issue with aliases. In my opinion, if you're going to hide in the shadows, but you're going to create an alias to target people and attack them or just be nasty to them, then you are the troublemakers. You're the shit stirrers. Because... Nobody likes to see a fucking, bullet coming at you. People
I like to see a fucking. Sorry.
Yeah, the problem with that though, Agent S, is that when you then use your real name, then all of a sudden you see it plastered all over the chat.
Yeah, but do you know what? This is a community, right? And if you're going to hide who you are as a person, it's quite simple. Don't use the chat. Don't get involved. Isn't it? Surely.
But then
absolutely. I wasn't using the chat.
Well, I thought you were, and I was right ready to, take you off my Skype when everyone was saying it was you on there, because the comment that you were meant to have said, was a direct, target at me, and it's like, all right. So it causes trouble, this alias thing.
You see how easy though it is then, because that wasn't me. But the thing is that you've got people constantly going, oh, that's Alexander, that's Tristan, that's Sonia, that's blah blah. That's the problem.
What?
Hedgestrad.
Hedgestrad. What did Hedgestrad say?
He said, "Okay, Shelley."
Okay, Shelley.
I've got no problem about my identity. I only use the name Agent S because it...
Oh, of course. Sorry, I'm not even reacting to the fact that the name has been used. Yeah, right.
A little trick Matt taught me that if you make something a little bit secret, it exposes the people that try and expose you.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I use the word Agent S, and I don't mind you calling me Shelley at all.
Yeah, because it really does bring out the people, the best in people and the worst in people, because they'll go, I know who you are. And it's like, well, yeah, it's not hard because she tells everybody. She knows. You know what I mean? Everybody knows Shelley. But ultimately, the people who would try to use it as a device, it's good to kind of see, who would use that as a device. I know your name's Shelley and I fucking know that you went out with this blah. Yeah, right. So it's like,
But it's better when like Hedgedredder says his name's Chris, if that makes you feel any better. Actually, it does. Not because I'm ever going to look Chris up or anything like that, but it makes me feel comfortable talking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you know who you're talking to. If people just want to hurl abuse at you and hide who they are, it does make you feel on edge, doesn't it?
I like the pantomime factor. It's like, if you say, my name's Agent S, and they go, no, it's Shelley, it's behind you. And you go, no, it's Agent S, I can't see anything. No, Agent S, it's Shelley, it's behind you. And they're like, fuck you. And you got to go, I don't know what you're talking about.
See, they're all coming in now. Hi, my name's Wraith, my name's Dennis.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good.
His name's not Wraith.
See, when you do that...
His name's not Wraith, though. That's not his real name.
Taking a piss, then?
His name's not Wraith. That's his nickname is Wraith.
Oh, yeah, but he's known as Wraith.
Yes.
So that's still valid in my mind.
Darthy has told us his name is Dennis, but he hasn't gone in chat.
His name's
before.
Den. I think Den is...
Do we know this? See, it could be all bollocks. We don't know this, but I would assume he's probably telling us the truth. But
in my mind, we're a community. When you can offer your name, we all know where we stand, and I feel that I can challenge these people in a nice way, and come and. Have we lost Sonia?
We lost Sonia. Yeah.
And I think you can challenge people. Like, if you've got issues with people, I think there's a perfectly good way to challenge somebody, even if you dislike someone and want to know why they do that. Matt, why do you fucking do this, do that? I think you can challenge people without this... where's the need to say, right, you fucking arsehole, and all... Like, you're not going to get anywhere doing that,
Like I say, I mean, I did say earlier on, I'm not particularly targeting Tim. Right, and I mean, I want to be specific about this, right? Because I've had brief, very fleeting conversations with him, and he's all right. I mean, I've had brief conversations with Polly, when she's not like calling me around her house to fucking wag a finger at me, going, "You admit now, you admit, you fucking admit now, you admit now," and it's like, yeah. So I mean, okay, say hello to her, nod, pass time of day, whatever. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that, like, I've got shit in my background, you know what I mean? I'm a circle maker. I've got shit in my background. These people got shit in their background too, And it's like, okay, we just get on with it. We just get on with it. They can't stop circle makers. It's impossible, yeah? It's totally impossible. And what I'm trying to illustrate is, it's like, well, what do we could illustrate your stuff too, couldn't we? We could just go, yeah, what about what you do? It's like, it's just as bad as what we do. It's just the same sort of thing. We're abusively going into people's land and doing stuff. And I say we because, as I say, I don't really do it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's abusive. But then again, so is farming. It's kind of abusive. You're taking animals to fucking kill the poor buggers. You know what I mean? It's like that's not abuse. I don't know what the fuck it is.
But there's respect to be gained in that admission. For you to say, do you know what we do technically is disrespectful. We're vandals. I think it makes the ears want to open. Even if I'm somebody that really dislikes you and believes that you're Satan himself, to hear you say that makes me want to listen to what else you've got to say. But just hearing you attack people and all of that stuff all the time, without getting any admissions, then it does generally close the ears.
Yeah. Well, I'm not telling anybody they have to stop eating meat, and I'm not telling anybody they have to stop farming. What I'm saying is, you got your shit, I got my shit. We're all shit, basically. It's just we ignore each other's shit, don't we? We kind of put up with it. I put up with your shit, and you put up with my shit. We all put up with each other's shit at the end of the day. And it's like, like the woman that the woman that I met down the lane. The woman that I met down the lane that decided that because my dog growled at her dog, she was going to start whacking my dog across the head with a fucking stick. And I said, don't do that. And she was like, well, I'll do it even more. And I said, you do that, and I'm going to fucking have you. So she just did it again. Just whacked my dog in the face with a stick.
If you remember, I said this to you. This was actually the turning stone.
These are people. These are fucking people like the farmers, like everybody around. They're all the same. People have all got their shit, and I've got my shit too.
No,
sorry.
That was the whole point. Because when I said to you, you're not the person to deliver the truth, that's when I had that breakthrough, is that dog situation. Remember I said to you, hang on a minute, you're a stucky guy, like tough, big built, bald head, intimidating. And
what's she doing that? She's like,
and
she's
she
playing
felt
with me.
she could fucking hit your dog while her dogs were off the lead, your dog was on the lead, and she felt that she could just hit your dog.
Yeah.
So,
and I was going to do nothing and stand there, and I basically did.
That says something about how you're perceived, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think people take me for a fucking mug a lot of the time. You know that. I've talked to you about it lots. I think people take me for a mug. And, you know, I'm standing up for the truth of crop circle making, and this is my bag. People don't like it that I'm standing up and speaking my fucking piece, and I'm saying bollocks to you, you know what I mean? It's like I get told not to fucking speak, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you mustn't do this, and you mustn't do that. And it's like so much suppression. I think that making a crop circle is like as an artistic thing, which creates positivity for people that, okay, albeit don't understand where they're coming from. You know, that business, the business of crop circles, which is a business for the Alexanders and the Pringles and all those, it's a fucking business. Whether they make money on it or not is another thing. It's a business. It's a business. You know, if you want to say you don't make money, that's fair enough, but it's a business.
All right, moving forward, right?
Okay.
How do we... so I can read your mind there, Matt. No, seriously, on this note...
You can read my mind?
Yeah.
Go on then.
No, I'm going to... Look, moving forward, right, if all the love and beauty that existed, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, with the circles, all the believers out there that believed they were alien-made, how can we have that, whatever we were all attracted to, even the non-believers and the believers, how can that exist now? What can we do, knowing that circles are man-made?
Well, you've got the option of people being more truthful and saying, you know, we think that there are some real circles out there, and we think most of them are made by people, but there are some real circles out there, and you can argue your case. You can argue your case why, and let people know, you know, why you believe that, and see whether it stands up. If it doesn't stand up, it doesn't stand up. But, you know, giving this like, oh, no, people make the crap ones. All these complicated ones are all the real ones, and you've got to come to me and spend your money with me and all that sort of stuff. That's bollocks. I think that has to stop. Because that's an industry, and it's an industry based on falsehoods. And there's too many people are telling me, Matt, just shut up. And they're trying every little trick in the book. They're pushing my buttons. I'm pushing their buttons. We're pushing each other's buttons. That's why this is negative, because we're pushing each other's buttons. We've all got more buttons to push, and we can up the ante. We can keep upping the ante. We can keep this thing going. But the one thing that these people who are upping the ante don't seem to want to accept and respect is that circle makers make circles tell the truth. That's what they don't want. They don't want to respect that. It's like, no, it's got to go back to the old way.
But
it's got to go back to keep it quiet. Shh, don't tell anybody.
If you've got something truthful, like if you know something that nobody else does, and you deliver that message with ugliness, like attack, with I'm going to destroy you now I know this, like that's the point I'm trying to illustrate. It's about how you deliver a message.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you've got some really interesting points, some really you do make you do find very good research, and you do find the holes in what people say, and I constantly think to myself, do you know what, I wish you could deliver that to everybody
in a nicer way,
because I think you would be very well respected. But you don't. You have a way, Matt, and to deliver information is always a brownie point. Ha ha ha! Yeah, got you on that one. It's like people don't want to know. They don't get involved.
Well, I'd like a vote on that.
Well, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just saying what's on my mind and what my feelings are, and I'm just saying, like, I'm sort of having one last attempt really to see if people.
Oh, you think people don't listen to you? I'm having one last attempt. Please. Sorry, I'm being sarcastic now, yes. Joke.
What I'm saying is, but, like, you know, I'm ready to wash my hands with the whole lot and just...
Don't you wash your hands?
See what I mean?
See?
Like,
See? Yeah, sorry. Got to be in there quick fire.
Well, no, I'm delivering
Sarcasm.
a point, aren't I? And you're just fucking snapping it, breaking it up.
No, sorry. I am breaking it up, but fight me. Come
Well,
on.
I haven't got the energy.
Oh, please have it.
This is what I mean. It's like...
Have it. Have the energy. Be infused by
I
Green
think you
Lan-
take me wrong when you say like...
Green Lantern energy.
When I say I'm giving it one last attempt, what I mean is I believe that there's good people out there. I am fucking ignoring you, Matt.
Sorry. I was going to say Green Lantern energy. Stick your finger in your ring and you will be empowered.
Only in your
That's a
fucking
joke.
private walls,
You haven't
Matt.
seen it yet, the movie. So, yeah.
No, I have no idea what you're talking
Put
about.
your finger in your ring and you'll have the energy then to combat my sarcastic stopping power.
I'm so glad that you
Shout me
shared that with
down.
me.
Shout me down. That's what I
I'm
want.
glad I stopped what I was saying for that.
Sorry. I will shut up now.
I'm just like playing with you now, Matt, a little bit. It's like, yeah, perhaps if you did that now and again. Well, you've destroyed. Come on, you've just destroyed what I was saying, haven't you?
Can I tell you where you were coming from?
Yeah.
If I can remember. I think you were saying that you are thinking of giving it up, basically, because you're not seeing where it's going.
I don't just mean CirclemakersTV. I mean the social networking. You know, the people liaising with, following people on the internet, the Skype, the industry, the pub. I'm talking about the whole lot. Like, I'm ready to wash my hands with it. And for no other reason than not because it's bothering me, I'm not hurt by it, I'm not, I don't think I'm particularly that angry with it, but I'm just saying that if this is what it's all about, if this is the truth that we're reaching, that's where we're coming to, that people are just shit stirrers, troublemakers, and brainwashers, then, I'm not missing much, am I, really? Might as well just...
It's just a phase we're
bow
going
and,
through.
Step away.
See, 2012 is coming soon, and then we'll all be happy and we won't argue with each other anymore. But apparently things are going to get really bad, I've been told, before they get better. So maybe we're in this phase, of like truth at the end. It's like truth before 2012, and then we'll all have the truth, And I think maybe it's good that it comes out just before 2012 and the end, so people will finally have the truth, and then we can all move on.
I don't think it's going to be World War III. Unix promotes that quite a lot.
Sorry. Somebody was asking what it was. Hatherwood.
Looks like bitter.
£2.45 for 4 cans.
Was it bitter?
Well,
yeah, it is, yeah.
No, I think if you read it, if you Google it, Hatherwood, it's Lidl's cheap brand. Apparently it's water with alcohol added.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And chemicals, apparently. And they say even though it's got hops on the front of it, apparently there's not much hop or plant in it. That's what people are saying. Well, it does actually say water and barley, malt and hop extract. But I think that might mean that these are all extracts rather than being brewed.
What happened to the good old days where people used to bloody make it in their sheds and shit, and everyone used to get bloody...
I think people like Customs and Excise got onto them and started saying, you've got to pay tax on that.
Yeah.
Chasing them round. So you've got in Devizes, you've got the famous Crammer, the lake, yeah? And the guys used to put their beer barrels in there and hide them, weight them down so they'd fall to the bottom of the lake. And they used to keep them there because the customs guys used to come after them and they'd want tax money if they were brewing stuff or getting stuff in without paying the tax. So anyway, one customs official was there one night and he had some sort of like, oh, look what they're doing there. They're pulling something out of the water. They're fucking hiding stuff in the water.
Yeah.
And he said, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the guys went, oh, it's all right. We're just the moon. You see the moon's out. We could see the moon is in the lake, and we're trying to get the moon. And so they were like, we're trying to get the moon out of the water. And he's like, fuck off. So they called them the Moonrakers. Have you heard of the pub name, the Moonrakers?
Yeah. I've heard the story before, actually. I'm just remembering it. Yeah.
So the Moonrakers were these guys that did that.
Yeah.
They were trying to get around the tax and putting the beers in somewhere where they knew nobody would go, in the middle of the fucking pond. Yes.
Wicked, brilliant.
So there we are. Right, we've lost Sonia for a bit. Do you want to see if she's got anything to add before we finish up? Well, I've got half an hour actually. Yeah, we are. Look, Unix says use the ring.
Huh?
Use the ring. It's up here. It's a bit off the top of yours. You can open that up a bit bigger if you want. So you've got more of it.
Oh.
Hello, Sonia. Oh, it's trying to ring. Hasn't gone through yet then.
She's got problems with the connection, I think, a bit, hasn't she?
I see. Is everybody still seeing us okay? Because I assume we're coming through all right, but you don't always know these things. Somebody says London Pride looks better. Brains. Oh, Brains. Yeah, Brains is very salty. I work for Customs and Excise in Cardiff. Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing?
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to go and deal with waking kids.
Ah,
And I was just going to say goodbye anyway, so,
yes. Brains,
So that was
sorry,
it,
but we
really.
just finished the point. Brains Brewery in Cardiff, went to visit them when I worked for Customs and Excise, and their secret ingredient, see, because I love spreading secrets, their secret ingredient, their hidden trademark secret is more salt. It's just saltier. Just saltier. That's it. It's just salty. Makes you want to drink more. Tastes salty. If you think about it, it does, actually. They're bitter, taste quite salty. That's the secret. So if you haven't worked it out, Brains is salty. There you go.
Nice.
Anyway,
Eat
Sonia,
more brains.
All I want to say to you, mate, is you got to don't be so sensitive to these people. They're here to wind you up, mate. So I reckon you should just like knock it on the head for a bit and just let them get on. If they're not talking about you, they'll be talking about somebody else. So step out of it and just watch become a spectator for a bit, because I can see that you're getting a lot of flack at the minute. I've been seeing it for a few weeks, to be honest with you. So you need to cut yourself out of it for a bit, because it's not going to get any better.
No.
That's
totally.
just a friend. Words from a friend.
Yeah. Cool. All right then. Well, I wish you all good night, and good vibes and good luck, and etc.
We've still got time. If you need to get off, do you? Or
Well, I haven't really got anything else to say, and
okay.
Well,
I think you did. I think you got your point across very well there. That it's all getting a bit fucking But
I'm glad you called, to be honest, Sonia, because like I said, I was thinking all kinds of things earlier, and you're the reason I came up here.
Oh.
So
Well, good.
There we are, Son.
It's really good it's good to see you back there.
Sonia, we'll have to get you on next week. Make sure we talk
Yeah,
about the
right.
same things. Get her back then. Get her back on.
No, I'm going to go and chain myself somewhere where I can't get near a computer and not watch.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what you should do, mate.
Yeah.
Is this a case of
right.
ostriches and sand, I'm thinking?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably what I need to do right now.
Oh, dear. Just watch somebody don't come up and bite your bum whilst you got your head in the sand.
Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
Unless you're into that sort of thing.
Depends.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's late night. Kids are in bed. Stick your head in the sand, honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to go, guys.
Thank you. Thanks very
see
much.
you later.
Yeah, speak later.
Thank
Later.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I think everyone
So tempted to make a joke now, like, oh, Sonia, I fucking can't stand it when she comes on the show. She probably hasn't.
You thought I was going to do that?
Play that on the replay. Yeah, she'll get that on the replay.
Yeah, and I'm not like talking about anybody else when I'm talking to Sonia. I've got no idea at all what's going on, and I don't want to get involved either. But I think no one should be should be attacking each other like all of you seem to be doing earlier.
All of us should stop attacking all of us.
It just doesn't. What does it breed? It just breeds more of it.
Yeah.
And
breeds
when you're involved in it,
sarcastic chavs.
You're unaware of how it's looking outside of your little fucking bubble.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a bigger picture here.
Well, there is, and but the thing is, I've got to make a decision really about how I present it, and ultimately, I know when I present things in a very, hello, I'm Matthew Williams, I'm wearing a suit. This is CirclemakersTV, and it's like, if I'm doing that, I don't feel that's really me, because I'm not like that when I'm in the pub, I'm not like that when I'm with my friends, but I have to, if I present it in a very sane and sober way, and make it all, just, let's not get it on the dark and the gossipy stuff, then that's fine. It looks great for grandma and granddad, and it looks okay for the people who are kind of like, I don't know, what is it, and they go, oh, well, he seems really nice because he's wearing a suit, so therefore I should listen to him. And I know that's how it works, but I don't want people to like me and love me because I'm wearing a suit, because it's false. That's what other people do.
This is why.
Just as an opinion.
But you're not a role model, are you? Because your handicap, if you like, is the fact that you're quite. In some ways,
don't tell him I've got wheels on this chair.
No, I was going to say that in some ways I envy you, because you do. I can so see you in 30 years' time doing that as well. That just looks so right.
Stop upsetting me. How does he do it? He like breathes it on. He breathes his keyboard, doesn't he? Like breathes his keyboard, and he's like, and then 50 minutes later, it's like, Shelley, you're not right. I am positive. You will be you will not be exterminated yet.
See, how can I ever finish what I'm saying?
You are. I just, like, that's the response.
Yeah, I know.
That's the joke at the end of it.
What I'm trying to say is the difference between yourself and a lot of other people is that if somebody offends you or they got something to say to you, you will be in their face like, oh yeah? Whereas people aren't like that. People aren't confrontational. They're tactful. And you don't...
I've tried really hard over the years to lose that tactability. It's taken me a long time. And you know what? I feel a lot better.
But you've got it. You've actually... You're a journalist, Matt. You have the skills, but you choose not to use them. Because you're arrogant. You're like... You relish the freedom to be who you want to be.
No, I think people just take the piss. So you just show them, hey, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it full barrels. Don't fuck with me, because it just wastes my time. Because I've been wasting my time for all these years. I've been wasting my time with this stuff so much. I mean, it's like, come on. That's my attitude. I worked in customs exercise. I was a little lamb. Wearing my little business clothes to sit into the civil service, and doing all the things and saying yes sir, no sir, and getting all the fucking flack and all the shit and feeling bad and thinking, God, this is not me, but I'm just living somebody else's life and I'm being polite and all these sorts of things. Do you know what? When I left there, when I got sacked from there for something I didn't fucking do, I just said to myself, do you know what? I'm never doing this again. I'm never holding what I think inside ever again.
Yeah.
If I got something, out it goes. If people don't like it, their problem, because it's not going to be my fucking problem digging away at me and going inside me, making me ill, making me feel bad.
I fully accept that, and I actually am a little bit jealous of those skills. I wish I could have that sometimes, but that's the point I'm making is you can be that. I'm not saying that that's not uncool. What I'm saying is that what you don't know how to do is separate I've got beef with this person, so I'm going to use everybody that I know as, I'm going to fucking make you out to be a cunt to all the people out there. Like, that's where you go wrong, I think.
Well, I think illustrating the points, I could have maybe left Tim's name out of it, but I mean, what I'm saying by saying, oh, look, here we go, we've got Tim. He's only one example of many farmers. He's not really, he's not doing anything wrong. He's not doing anything that anybody else, 99.9% of society, would say is wrong. But they're saying, actually, he's fucking right, Matt, and you're wrong. Yeah? But what I'm saying is, I don't go with that. This is my take on it. And I know it's a very unpopular view, but you know what? I think this is the truth.
No, because I'm going to use the word again. It's about integrity. Like, if you and Tim wanted to go to war with each other and slag each other off, I don't even have a problem with that. It's like, but let's try and understand where it's coming from. Like, I've spoken to you today on it, and I've said, like, he's no different to any other farmer. How does it affect you? And I don't. All I get is the same response, or I seem to get the same response, which is, I just like winding people up, and that's what I've got a problem with, because
no, I don't like winding people up. I like telling it how it is. Okay. I know this is going to go down the Tim Avenue again, right? And it's like, you'll say, oh, it's just dragging stuff up from the past. It is dragging
Well, use
stuff.
a different example then.
Well, this illustrates the point quite well. Let's.
Well, if you're going to use it, you've got to be prepared to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent a fax to Tim Carson talking about, being a circle maker and what was happening. That fax was translated, was given out to other people on behalf of Tim Carson, saying, I am being attacked by Matthew Williams. He's attacking me, and he actually gave people a copy of the faxes and then sort of like wrote his thing about, like what he's saying and how it affects him and all this sort of stuff and gave it out to other people. Now, the point is, it's like, I don't think that I was actually attacking anybody. I was just telling them how it is. That's how it is. That's what circle makers are doing right now. That's the way it is. Yeah. If I'm then going to get interpreted as being attacking, well, there's no dialogue, is there? There's no way.
Have you actually analysed it and asked yourself, if I was him, would that have been an attack? Because we've already agreed and established that you don't know how to communicate. That's how you deliver information. So
okay.
I'm ready to believe that letter probably was quite aggressive.
Yeah. Like the time when I was down in the toilets, it sounds rude. Here we go. Down in the toilets in the barge inn, and Adrian Dexter, crop circle maker, walks in, and I said, hey, I got to have a word with you. And he's like, what? And I said, well, people... Jesus, I'm so tempted right now to illustrate my point to make... But because of what I'm going to not say the name, okay?
Good.
I'm going to use tact. Okay? You'd love to know this name. You would love to know this name because it just fits in really nicely with things we've been talking about tonight. But a person was upstairs saying, oh, circle makers in the pub. I wasn't known as a circle maker at the time. Circle makers in the pub. Circle makers in the pub. We know he's a circle maker. Why don't we go and trash his car? Why don't we go and smash his car up, yeah? Why don't we do that? And they were all discussing different various tactics of ways they could do it, and would anybody spot it, and divert the people at the bar so they don't see what's happening, and then he'll go out and do it and get away with it, and da-da-da-da. And that's all that. And I'm thinking, poor fucking circle maker down in the toilet doesn't know what's being planned here for him, yeah? I'm thinking, poor circle maker. So I go down to the toilet, and I say to him, hey, geezer, right? I'm a circle maker, right? Fucking, yeah. I'm just telling you, they're going to do something to your car. Just keep an eye on it, because I don't know what your car is, but apparently just keep an eye on it, because they're fucking really going for it upstairs. Yeah. Guess what the circle maker went and told people? I threatened him in the toilets that's what I was going to do to his car. You can't fucking win. You can't win. Isn't that... I find that quite funny. I'm like, watch out, geezer. They're just about, tipping him off.
There's a few messages in that, isn't
there?
You
can't win.
Like if you're going to be a vandal and make circles in somebody else's field, then someone vandalising your car is, I don't approve of that. I think that's all wrong. I'm just saying on a moral high ground.
Yeah. But that's the thing, you see. I mean, these people who take these moral high grounds, of like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this because it's bad for the farmers and bad for the land and do. And then you get the spiritualists and the mediums and all that, and they say, oh, no, we take this moral high ground. And it's like when you break it down, I'm accused of being negative because I'm on here talking about people's shit, yeah? But by me talking about... and I'm not going to give an example, and I'm not going to name names, but if I talk about, say, a circle researcher who says, like, I've probably said it in my YouTube video, so go back through them, you'll see what I'm saying, but saying something like, on an interview, right, this is an interview for a crop circle documentary, and it's like, right, what would you like to say about crop circles? Well, there's nothing more I'd like to do than to smash Rob Irving's head in with a baseball bat. This is a crop circle researcher. On a documentary. It's your chance to speak. And is it spiritual? No. Is it nice? No. Is he wanting love and harmony? No. He just wants to... he would like nothing better than to smash Rob Irving's head in with a baseball bat. The only thing stopping him might be the law, or the fact that he hasn't actually got round to getting near him in a chance where Rob couldn't defend himself and smash his head in with a baseball bat.
But that's what I'm saying. When you behave like that in society, like you straight away you get a message and an impression and an idea of, like, where your boundary is with that person straight away.
It's not nice.
You're not going to learn anything much from that person other than how to intimidate somebody.
Yeah, but it's not good, and I'm dealing on this program with not good. Sorry, I cut you off a bit there. Carry on.
Don't be a dick.
I'm anticipating the ends of what you're saying, and I'm just coming straight back on
Yeah,
them.
don't walk on eggshells, Matt. I don't think I'm being aggressive or.
No, but I don't want to cut you off. So carry on if you want to. Just keep going. Just don't let me stop you by saying something at the end. Just carry on. I'll just pull back and you carry on, because I don't want you to sort of like stop because I've just said something. Carry on.
No, I think you're having a bit of fun here.
Can't win.
Trust,
Keep telling you.
No, but this is the whole thing. If you're gonna act like that
Can't
consistently, it's cry wolf, isn't it? Like, don't suddenly become the professional. Yes, you know, don't be somebody that you're not. Because I've learned not to trust that in you already.
No,
that's my point.
You're right, but I don't want to cut you off. I don't want you to think that I'm cutting you off just to sort of like, whoop, got one over, got one in. No, I want you to carry on, but carry on. You know, I will move back. It's just like I'm just filling in the ends of these sentences with retorts. But yeah, she don't believe me. She always thinks I'm taking the fucking piss, even when I'm not, all the time.
Yeah, because you don't
Always
take the piss, and then suddenly respect. Like, who does that? Who does that? I can't relate to that.
Apparently not me. Yes.
I'm just, look, you know, I don't mean any harm, Matt. Like, I'm just challenging you on it. I've had issues. You've had issues. We've fallen out from time to time. I don't think you're perfect, but I certainly don't think that you're as bad as, you know, some people would have me believe. And do you know why? It's because it's for each person to find out for themselves. If I, you know, and if we all went around judging people on what our best friends or our families had said, then that's probably why we're at the place that we're at in the first place. Is that divide, isn't it?
Mm.
The circlemakers, the believers, you know, the researchers, the, you know, circlemakers, like everyone. It's all divided, isn't it? And I think, why take sides? Why not find out for yourself?
Because I'm pouring this pint, that's why. And I can't multitask. That's why we need you, Agent S.
I was just thinking that. I'm thinking, for somebody that claims that they needed me up here, you sure do a good way of... yeah.
Crap. Yeah, sorry. I do sure do a good what?
No, I'm not. No. I'm bored.
She's like... she thinks I'm being, like, sarcastic and
Yeah,
I don't
I do.
really want you here. It's not
Yeah.
a case. It's not a case of wanting you here. It's a case of the fact that you do a good job. People like you. I can't do it without you. What can I say?
No, yeah, but my thing is, I'm
I
trying to
need
be
somebody.
honest, right?
I need somebody. If it's not you, it's going to have to be somebody else. I'm going to have to get somebody else in because I can't operate all the stuff and read the chat channel.
I'm just a very selfish
mental.
person. I'm a selfish person, and my time is my energy, and I value my energy.
Yeah.
And I think if I've got stuff to learn, if I can make things, help somebody see something in a different way, or I can even make you become a bit of a better person, then I think that's worth my time. But if I think that everyone's just gonna argue and you're fucking not interested, then I'm not interested. I'm bored. That's all it is.
There you go. See, I mean, can I be? Like, this is a joke now, right? Joke, okay? Woman trying to change me. I'm a gay guy, right? And she's trying to change me. We's not married. But yes, if you can make me better, please try. It hasn't worked so far. But yes, please try. That's not to say, you know, but please try. Because nobody's managed to do it so far.
I'm not trying to change you. I'm trying to improve you.
It was a joke,
Because
by the way.
No, I think there's truth in it.
You changed me for the better. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone said that like I was living in a pigsty. I was living the bachelor lifestyle.
But that's
and
all
you
I mean, yeah.
And you keep the house tidy, and you sort of sort me out, and you make me realise that I have to be a little bit respectful in certain situations, but I don't really want to be because I just want to live a life of, you know, yeah. But you know, I try. But anyway, this is all sort of what do you call it? Household stuff, really, isn't it? Rather than CirclemakersTV. But anyway, it's made an interesting 5 minutes, but probably not a 20-minute bash.
Well, usually, to be fair, we jump off the tail ends of questions and stuff.
Yeah.
But everyone else has been talking amongst themselves and stuff.
What have they been saying? Let's read it all out. Stop the lies then. Agree, Keith.
That says,
Keith laughs.
When Sonia was leaving, and
right.
I said, I don't know what's going on and I don't want to know.
So Muzz says suits. Nightmare Bug says, with loves 'cause you're drinking bitter. Dorothy says Davros when I said, you will be exterminated. Yeah, or exterminated.
And Wraithy's old age
Gay
olds.
Daleks. You will be exterminated. White wee in the dark. Sorry, see, I'm not allowed to do jokes like that. What
was that?
Huh?
Was that you?
Nope. Oh, this. It's me doing the table. I'm pushing the table.
Tapping on the window or something.
No, it's me pushing the table. Matt, say it like it is, says Nightmare Bugs. Only one life, be yourself. That's the way I feel about it. I've lived one half of my life being Mr. And I'm not going to live the second half, I can tell you. Smashing car, was that not the subject of a dream of yours, Matt? God, I probably had a few of those dreams. I had a dream the other night that the next door neighbours took their shed down and they all had grass going all the way out to the lane. What's all that? Doesn't mean
anything. Yeah,
anything.
because we think they're growing green next door.
Shh.
Oh.
Shouldn't say things like that. No, we don't know that at all. We just laughed because they left their light on in the shed, and I said, "Oh, they've got their light on in the shed. Maybe they grow green down. It's tiny. They couldn't if they wanted to. It's too small." Yeah, so that's just a joke. Oh God, there'll be bloody CID down there next.
So let's all say what we want to say. You can't. You have to be tactful. That's a perfect example.
You take responsibility for that one then.
Well, you just bailed me out anyway, so...
Well, if anything bad happens, it'll still happen.
But it doesn't affect me, does it?
And even if it happens because it wasn't of anything we put on this show, you'll still feel guilty.
Yeah, we're fucking hypocrites anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
There you go, see? At the end of the day, fuck it. That's what I believe in. Bob, you see, Bob, this guy here, which I put, look.
Bob Dobbs.
Bob Dobbs. Fuck it. And this is not rehearsed because it sounds like we've just made, like a segue into talking about Bob and the Church of the Subgenius. Sponsors of tonight's show with zero money but total slack. 100% slack. Yes, join the Church of the Subgenius if you wish to know why you should be saying, fuck 'em if they can't take a joke. So, like with crop circles. Crop circles? Fuck 'em if they can't take a joke.
Yeah, but I think if we all did that from time to time and just said, you know what, fuck it, and just moved on a bit, then I don't think these arguments would get as deep as they get.
Well, I think, a lot of people think that it's winding me up. I've lived my life being wound up. It's like I enjoy the little fun blips of seeing other people thinking that things are winding me up. I enjoy that because it's like they think they got me by the balls. It's like, no, come on, let's twist those balls harder. I want to feel the pain. Do it more. What have you got? Come on. It's like, I just love it. That's why I like the show being so open and the chat channel being open. But at the end of the day, yes, I can see it's not what I enjoy. It's what other people get offended by. Not necessarily me. I'll enjoy any of it, but it's not necessarily how I feel about it. It's how other people feel sometimes.
Clockwork Williams, says Darcy.
Yeah. But not quite as bad as Malcolm McDowell. Clockwork Orange.
Matt, why is the only ad on here R?
Why is the only ad on here
Don't know.
our GBZ?
Yours.
Our.
I don't get it.
Well, anyway, I got Sea Shepherd up in the corner because tonight was being a very animal protesty type message, so I put Sea Shepherd up in the corner because I'm a bit of a supporter of Sea Shepherd, and go and watch Whale Wars and find out what's going on, and find out that they stopped the Japanese whalers this year. They gave up, so that was great success. And that's not by being nice or being polite, like Greenpeace used to be, very polite. They were going, you'll never get anything with negativity, Greenpeace said. Paul Watson was the founder of Greenpeace. He started Greenpeace, and they were all like, "Oh no, we've got to do it politically, and we've got to write, to politicians, and we've got to do, what do they call them when you write signatures? Petitions, yeah." Yeah, they've got to do petitions and things like that, and they were like, "Oh, it's all very polite." And Paul Watson said, "Fuck this, is getting nowhere." It's getting absolutely fucking nowhere. Nobody's listening. They're not interested. They know we're weak because all we do is write fucking petitions. And they can just keep on wailing and we'll just write petitions. And we can go around going, look what they're doing. And they go, yeah, fuck off. Take as many photos as you like. Fuck off. Yeah, so Paul Watson's just like, let's ram them. Ram their fucking ships and sink them if necessary. And became pirates. And guess what? It stopped them. Because somebody was going to lose a life in the end, and the Japanese didn't want it to be them. Now I like that, I like that. So if you kind of see that in the way I present the show, it's kind of no holds barred. That's the way I kind of feel. It's like, no. We're going in a direction. We want people to know the truth. The truth's kind of ugly sometimes, but there we go. I don't want to do it all the time. I'm not going to say I'm always going to do it. I'm not saying I'm always going to do it, but get more people on the show that talk positivity, because I'm running out of material and I've said all the positive stuff I can say. Now it's all the gossip.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think if more people came on,
that's not a threat. That's not like, if you don't come on the show, fuck you all, it's going to get negative here. It's like, it's just a reality. I do negative well. I can talk about negative all day long. I can sit in a debate with people and debate and get people red in the face, and I can do that. I'll sit with them and fucking have it out. They usually end up getting more wound up and fucking than I do over it, and ending up thinking like, I've done them in, just through words. So, yeah. I mean, I'll go for that, but it's not what everybody else wants. So if everybody else wants a more positive show, then we've got to get some people on to talk about the positive stuff. I'll have Lucy Pringle on here. I'll have Michael Clickman on here. I'll have whoever wants to come on and talk about why I'm full of shit and why I couldn't possibly be right or the other circle makers be right about this. Then get them on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. But not on a one-sided platform where they get to speak and you get taken the piss out of. Let's keep this balance, where I get a response as well, and as well as them. They don't like that. That's why all this shit's hitting the fan. They don't like the balance. It's got to be one-sided. It's got to be like crop circles are wonderful, magical,
Yeah.
keep it all one-sided. No, this is the debate.
Yeah.
This channel, Circlemakers, sorry, I haven't got the wrong camera on. This fucking channel here is the debate. This is nasty as the debate. It's not fisticuffs, but it's a debate. And if you want to up the ante with a debate, we up the ante with a debate. And I don't see a problem with that, because this is a debate. I'm not here to shout people down and tell them they're bastards and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah, if that was one message, I'd feel happy that could be received by people, is that you can challenge people on their actions and their words without all this you can't and all this bollocks. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I think we should. It's an open invitation. If anybody's got the balls,
Yeah,
if anybody's got the balls, to come on and challenge me, and I've said before. I mean, I know I'm a bit mouthy. If you want to bring your own chairperson on, I'll hand the control over. If I'm told to shut up whilst the other person says their piece, your chairperson, you bring the chairperson on, I'll shut up. The chairperson will be an independent or somebody that is going to hold good counsel on who should be having something to say, and we will balance it out between the two. I think that's the only fair way to do it, and this is a debate, and it's an open and public debate. So,
can I just ask Sonia if she's going to come on
the show? She already said she would.
Did she?
Yes.
No, well, yeah, but I'm
in
just
July.
saying that Keith has suggested that he would come on with Sonia, and I'm saying, is that a serious possibility?
Does Keith get on with Sonia? I kind of lost track now.
But this is a demonstration, isn't it? We're saying that you can challenge people in a non-threatening, non-fisticuffs way. I said I might do. Okay. Okay, so that's a possibility. That's good.
But the thing is, you get Keith and Sonia together, they'd probably be fine with each other. They'd probably end up being good friends, and at the end of it all being like, oh, here's my telephone number. And that's the thing is, people don't talk in real life like we do on this channel, because this channel is not real life, is it really? I mean, we're talking about things we'd never talk to people's faces about, but this is the internet. This is where people go, nah. People say things in emails they'd never say face to face.
Do you know what, as well, I've thought that this chat thing is like a fly on the wall as well. You know when you're living in a community, you go to the pub, you see the odd people,
Yeah.
and then when people go home, they say, "Oh, so and so said this, and so said that." Like,
Yeah.
there it is. This is the fly on the wall that goes on.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing what people are like.
Yeah. And I mean, if we just imagine, right, take away the camera, okay? Take away Agent S, Shelley. Take away Agent M, Matthew, right? There's no webcam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, take away the audio. You just got a chat room. And we're all saying the same things in the chat room, right? That's all you've got is exactly what most people do in the forums and on Facebook and what they're doing anyway. All we've done is we've added a picture and the audio. That's what people find offensive, is they can't believe that I would say the things that I would say in a chat room. But I will, because I've been on computers since the fucking things were practically invented on the internet. I've lived this, yeah. I don't want to like play in fucking chat rooms and emails. I want, you know, I'll say it, you know. I'll fucking say it, you know. I'll say it to your face. It's like, so that's what I want other people to do. Is like, you know, let's not hide behind our keyboards and aliases and things like that. Yeah, you know, there's a point there. Don't hide behind the keyboard and aliases. Come on the show. You got something to say? You can put your your face mask on if you want on the show.
We can hide the voice on the...
We can hide the voice. You know, if you don't want to, if you don't want your name, but get on the show and show that you could prepare to say it in person. That's the thing. I want to see people on. I want the viewers to come on the show. I was thinking about this. Get the viewers on the show, yeah? Of course, I'm fucking desperate now. You can tell. This is like desperation, isn't it? Let's get the viewers on the show. We'll have 2 or 3 viewers on the show, and you can all be in masks, and let's get you saying in here what you say in the chat room. I won't take your mask off. We aren't going to expose your details of who you are. Let's get the viewers in here saying what they dare to say in this chat room in the studio. I think that'd be I think it'd be hysterical. But that's just me. And like I say, I do want to keep this light-hearted. I'm not so desperately serious about some of these things. If I was, I'd be doing more about it.
But there's nothing bad in admissions, is there? That's what I'm trying to say to you. You can be honest about things. Like, you know, so what if you need material, you need... Why not have a fucking guest on it? There could be somebody in that chat room that can change the whole future of where we all go. You know, you just don't know. We've all got something to add.
I do think that, yeah. I mean, everybody who has been suggested to me as a guest I've had on, you know, I'm not worried about backgrounds, levels of knowledge. The fact that you've got your opinion is enough. Yeah, you can talk about why you've got your opinion, and that's enough. You know, just if you've got a strong opinion, bring it on. Yeah. If it comes across that, you know, you don't know much, it'll just come across that way, because at the end of the day, it's like, what do I know about somebody else's position? I don't know about their position. What do they know about my position? You know, it's like, it's going to come out in the debate. It's going to come out in the debate.
Do you know what the other thing is, though, like we've discussed this before about articulating what you're saying. There are a lot of us that have strong feelings, and your mind can think so much before your mouth can't keep up. And there are people out there that don't make circles or whatever who will be able to articulate what we think, what other people think, and deliver the idea to people in a better way. And I think even that is worth, you know.
Yes, it would be nice to get the other side across. And I mean, I spoke to Bert Jansen, actually. I was like asking him about his posters. He's got some posters for sale of the Stonehenge sunrise. And I said to him, oh, right, you know, what are you doing with these posters then? Because I thought he'd written messages across them like, this is the Stonehenge sunset and all that. And I was like, have you got all that writing all over them? And he said, no, I don't. And I was like, oh, cool, because I think it's better without all the writing on. That's cool. Do you want to come on the show? Haven't heard back from him yet. We'll see. But, you know, at the end of the day, will he come? Will he come on the show? I would like to think he would, because he's had enough. He's had enough to say about me in public venues and events where, you know, within earshot of a lot of people, he's kind of gone, oh, yes, Matthew, I can't do it. Can you do an Amsterdam voice? He's like, yeah, he's like, you know, because they got they sort of talk like as if they're underwater. But, yeah, you know, he's basically in public said like, you know, oh, yes, Matthew, you know nothing about the crop circle. And it's like, you know, you fucking lie, and you know you lie, and you love it. And it's like,
okay. Well, that's your opinion, Bert, but, it's like, if you want to come out and see a circle being made and we'll do it the right way and all that, quite happy to show you if it's all upfront and legal, because I can't take chances anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, but I'm happy to, so it's like, come on then, let's do it, let's have this debate, let's have this match, let's see which one is going to come out with the better information, let's do it, I'm up for that. Bring it on. I think these circles researchers, they need to have a go at putting me down. Put me down. Tell me why your information is so good and so real that we should take note and stop sort of like doing CMTV. Tell me why. I'd love to have that. That's a good thing. So I'm hoping that some of these researchers will come on.
Darcy says mass debate of all right, sorry, I've just double realised what he meant. I was thinking of sorry.
You walked into that one, didn't you?
No, I was thinking of Kilroy.
Sorry, walked into that one.
Not till it came out of my mouth.
Well done, Dorothy. He said, "Yes, let's have a mass debate in the studio. We'll have a mass debate."
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well done. But yeah, anyway, like I said, when I read it in my head, in my way, I was visualising. Do you remember Kilroy? Is it Kilroy?
Yeah.
Like imagining all your live stream guests in here.
The studio
and
audience.
And you doing the Kilroy bit.
And down the front. And then going, look, madam, you've got an opinion, but it's just like, no, I'm sorry, no. It's like, no, I would try not to do that. I would actually, so go on then, get it out, come on. I want it. Give it, I want, no, we'll give you as much time as you want. You can have half an hour, come on, fucking tell me why I'm wrong. Please. Because I'd love to know.
Oh. I won't read that one from the
Oh, go on.
It said, if I want a laugh, I listen to Matt. If I want intelligent enlightened thought, I listen to Shelley. There
you go, you see. This is why Agent S, Shelley, is important.
But I've got a little fight with myself. I get paranoid because that's how I see myself as...
unworthy.
No. I see myself as... I in my own mind, I feel like if I'm going to, do anything, I need to do some kind of good.
Right.
But sometimes I get incredibly embarrassed by that, for being a bit fucking wussy.
You need to stop me being me. That's good enough, isn't it?
I need to toughen up, and you need to be less fucking tough, and be a bit fucking,
Fucking.
Yeah.
Fucking. Yeah. I need to be fucking.
Agent Yin and Yang.
Yeah. But that's why I think it's good. That's why I originally thought Shelley would be brilliant on the show, because Shelley doesn't think the same things. Shelley also has a rational approach, and we've discussed some of this stuff off air about, why Shelley is the way she is and what's brought her to be the way she is and why I'm the way I am. We've discussed this. Some of it is probably, it's not for air, really, is it? I mean,
definitely
it's not for air. But, we've all got like quite hardcore life experiences that made us the people we are. But what I know is that Shelley is good for coming back at me and where I'm coming from. And yeah, I like that. So
we'll never argue to the point where something gets thrown or someone gets hurt. Like that will never happen.
No.
And that's what
we've always had that sort of respect level there, where it always, if you disagree, you kind of go, wow, okay, but whatever, let's carry on and let's just look at this, yeah? So that's why I like, because that's what you want. You don't want somebody who's going to go, oh, look it forever, fuck it forever and there. That's not what I want. I want somebody that's going to just come back with some good information, and I want people in the chat channel to challenge what I'm saying as well.
Yeah, so. Third Wave. We met Third Wave, didn't we, at the weekend? He made a comment earlier.
Yeah, we did.
To meet you both.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, he just makes a comment there. He said, straight up, I think both of you as a pair do a good job with this show, and you should keep it up as you could potentially build on it as you have some interesting interviews. I agree with that, but sometimes I think of the weight of that. Like, it is quite a heavy weight, isn't it? I'm not saying it's a burden. I'm just saying the energy it takes to keep it up and to keep it up, because you know, when you start doing it, you become, it's not a role model, but people take every word, people take everything you say, so you
literally,
exactly, and so you become afraid to, you know,
Slap
to change
it
your
out there.
mind.
Slap it out. Oh,
Like,
sorry. Yes.
like people, when people watch something like this, some people, I'm not saying everybody, just some people out there, they'll hang on every word that you say, ready to fucking knock you down if you become a hypocrite or something like that. And I am a hypocrite. I change my mind all the time. I've already said I don't set anything in stone. I've only got to listen to somebody else and learn something from them, and I've already changed 10 years of thinking. I'm not afraid to do that, but I am afraid that people are going to say,
Ooh, caught you out here.
And
You said this and then you said that.
I'm not afraid because it's going to hurt me. I'm afraid of giving the energy. I'm afraid of investing my time, my energy for one little fucking dickhead to come along and...
Oh, and they will pick you up. You've got to be tough-skinned because they will pick you up on everything you say. And they'll go, oh, you said that, but what about this? And I remember, they'll do that to you. They'll go, oh, remember you 20 years ago, you went out with somebody and you said...
They did it earlier.
Yeah, exactly. They said, you said this. And then they go, reel you in. And it's like, and today, earlier on, you said this. So 20 years ago, you said this, and now you say this. Well, all that says is people change. And I don't think it's real...
I'd like to promote that. I'd like to say that we're all fucking human. None of us are perfect. No one can stand up and say, do you know what? I'm an adult. You know, when I reached this age, I became an adult. I own a house, I own a car, so everything I say is fully thought through, fully understood by myself, and yes, this is how it is. It's like bullshit. We're all fucking, you know, treading water half the time, aren't we?
Everyone wants to justify their position. Me, circlemakers, believers, researchers, farmers. We're all right. We're all right.
Yeah.
But maybe we're all a little bit wrong.
Because you're all worried that your tyres are going to get fucking punctured or your car's going to get scratched. So I'm saying... I'm
not worried. It fucking happens.
Yeah, it happens to you. It don't happen to me. Why?
Yeah.
Because you're not tactful and I am. It's down to that. And I'm conscious that someone's going to go and fucking slash my cars now. Just, you know, it's like...
They can work out which car's yours.
My point is, right, if people have you're in a safe environment because you know that it doesn't matter what we talk about, I'm never going to do those things to you. You could do what you want, I'm not going to do that. And that's why people are afraid to speak, because they'll get disowned by their bloody neighbours or... do you know what I mean? And I think create an environment, if any message should be understood, create an environment for yourselves where you can challenge somebody that you don't respect in order to gain respect, either more for yourself or for that person. That, to me, that's worth your time and your energy.
Yeah. I'm also aware that nobody's ever done a show quite like this that's just like, bleh, you know, nobody's ever really done a show like this that I know of. And, you know, that has its value in its own way because nobody's ever done a show that deals with this sort of stuff in this way. It does have a value. And if it tames down a little bit, I think, you know, people go, oh, it used to be quite interesting, now it's quite boring. It's probably too long. It's probably way too long, but then, you know, it's a conversation, isn't it? Rather, this is a conversation rather than a show. It's not a TV show. It's a conversation amongst people, and conversations go on long.
Unorthodox if it was a TV show,
yeah. We'd never get this on TV. Some people have said to me, oh, would you like to get this on TV? No. Do you know why? Because that would mean TV, and that would mean money, and that would mean fucking media whores fucking around and going, no, we've got this we want you to say, and we've got this one, and you've got to wear this costume today, and we've got to promote this Apple iPad thingy, and we got to, you know, have it in the background whilst you're talking, and that's TV, that's not me. Yeah. So no, I think the fact that we could make this show what we want to, but it's what we make it is important, and, you know, be damned with formality and be damned with suits and be damned with being, you know, being tame. Be what you want to be. Say what you want to say. You don't always like piss your guests off by being openly rude to their faces, but if they won't come on the show, game on. It's internet, isn't it? It's just like anything else. You know, you can just see it on Facebook anyway, so why not?
Well, not in my case.
Yeah.
I've switched all that off.
Yeah.
Well, you'll live a happier life. I know that.
I am, yeah.
You will live a happier
But
life.
someone keeps emailing me things.
Oh, like little snippets of
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Oh, just to let you know that there's still a world out there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I switched off television for that reason because it's just like, meh. I mean, I've got my own life to live. This Circlemakers TV is like one of these. It's like bloody Jerry Springer in a way, isn't it? It's like. But it's a Jerry Springer that doesn't always have to be, dark. It can be a nice Jerry Springer. 'Cause he does those too, but he often does degenerate into these like fisticuff things. But the fisticuffs are with words. They're not like, they're not with literal fisticuffs. But it's like one of those shock shows. It's like, did you really know that this is the way it is?
I don't see it like that.
You watch those sorts of programs, don't you?
Jerry
Do you?
Springer? No, I don't. I don't
Don't
even
you
watch
watch-
Jeremy Kyle.
You don't.
I have done. I used to watch.
I'm only assuming now because I
Ricky
know
Lake many years ago.
because Agent S Shell, she has a television, so I automatically assume because she
I
has a
don't watch it, though.
television that she watches all these shows that are like reality shows and things.
No, I watch Joe Frost.
Right? Is that like a bit in your face?
She's a super nanny. Have you not seen it?
No.
Super nanny.
No, I
you
don't
have.
go to TV.
She's very good at what she does. She goes into people's households, people that have really naughty kids, and she gets the parents and she's like, "Wait, you're the problem. Sort it out." She's fucking brilliant. That's the sort of stuff I like.
Motivational. Yeah.
What else do I watch?
Coronation Street.
Nope, never watched that.
Emmerdale.
Emmerdale, yes. I'm
Oh.
a sucker for Emmerdale.
That's all right then. I can't stand those things, but there we are. That's me. Well, so fine. I know loads of people who love them.
No, Emmerdale's good. I like Emmerdale.
Yeah. What I think to myself, this is not a distraction away from, Emmerdale. I think I'm living an Emmerdale.
Really?
Of sorts.
I wish my life was as interesting as it is in Emmerdale.
I mean, we don't kill each other. You know what I mean? We don't go as far as that, but it's interesting enough. It's like, it's like an Emmerdale. It's like life is like that. Anyway, people are talking about people and things are happening and blah, 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 blah. I think that's what Emmerdale's all about. So I think I don't need that, you see. That's what I think. I'm not saying it's wrong to watch it or anything like that. It's just I don't need that stimulation of things that are already happening around me anyway,
You create that drama in reality. I don't create that drama.
See, that's the thing. I think maybe,
Although I did catch myself saying to somebody the other day, "Do you know any single guys? Because I think I'm missing the drama." So, yeah.
Ah, right. So there you go.
Mm.
We all have to create an Emmerdale in our lives
Yeah.
called crop circles, and then we'll be okay. We'll have a stimulation. I think that maybe that's why people tune into Circlemakers TV, because it's going to sort of somehow titillate on an Emmerdale level in a crop circle way.
I don't think anything interesting happens in my life.
Of course that's fiction Emmerdale, but this is real fucking Emmerdale. It's like rah,
Mm.
And of course, if it was fiction, we'd probably get away without any fucking hassle from it. But
I don't think the crop circle world is like any of the traditional soaps, like your Coronation Street, Emmerdale, EastEnders. What is it more like? If I could... What's it more like?
Circlemakers TV is like a soap, Dorothy says. It's better than Emmerdale. When do we get the plane crash? Well, if I keep going on flying in 30-mile-an-hour winds, as I did with somebody the other day, then you never know. Watch this space.
What's that? GBZ says, Agent S, glickers may be available. Is that a joke or something?
Oh, single.
Oh, fuck.
Single people.
Done it again.
Single people. Yeah.
Fuck.
She used to clean in his house.
I thought she meant...
She used to clean in Glickman's house.
I did, yes.
Did you admit that on the show?
Yeah.
That's all right then.
Well,
so
why
I'm not going
would
to
I
get
deny
accused.
it?
No. I was just wondering what I was accusing. Can you believe it? She used to clean Glickman's house.
Yeah.
Did he like
Nope.
What?
I know what you're going to say because you've asked me before.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to ask that. I was a bit more sort of like. So does Mr. Glickman have dirty underpants?
Nope.
He doesn't. He washes his own stuff. That's professional, see. She wouldn't say. She worked. See, so that's professionalism.
Exactly.
See?
Learn from it.
Yeah. There we are, like, you know. No dirty underpants in...
Although you, on the other
Glickman's
hand... yes.
I make sure they're dirty.
Can you not put them in the bloody machine and leave them there? Put them on the basket on top of the washing machine, because then I don't have to pick them out when I want to do my washing.
Right. Oh, don't put them in the washing machine. Put them in the basket.
Yeah, that I'll put on top. That's for anything that's going to sit there for more than...
Okay, yeah.
So I just thought it'd be great to do your dirty laundry on air.
There you go. Dirty laundry on air.
Exercise one of those famous...
I normally fill them up, like, you know, sort of fill them up and then sort of like tie them off, and just like drop them on top.
You haven't lately, because I've had to fucking
Yeah.
peg them out.
Great. So there we go. Yeah, you've heard it all tonight, I think. Yes. Yeah.
I have exaggerated.
Do you know what though? Fair play. I've never even seen knickers or been anywhere near her knickers. She's really discreet. She does my stuff, but then she does her stuff, and it's like it's all done. I never see anything. She because I just leave mine. I'm like, there's my stuff.
I wash the bath when I get out of it.
I've tried to do that
and
now.
when you get out of it.
Yeah.
Have you cleaned out the bath tonight? You fucking haven't, have you?
She's right.
Although your fucking stubble is still in there, so I've got to go and wash it.
Oh, I'll go and do it. Right.
Yes, I do. Well, I just do it. If it's there, I do it.
Reality,
so.
but she's great. She's discreet. Everything's clean. Don't have to worry about it. I'm the pig. I'm just like out of control, and yeah. And I'm glad that I'm glad to learn these things about myself. You see?
No, you're not, because we spoke about this. I remember giving you. We talked about this before, and I said that you should really clean the bath out. Like, do you not understand that by not doing it, you know that I have to do it?
I do know, and I forgot today because I was going off to do something. So I ripped it into the bath really quick, got out, dried myself, and then forgot that I have to actually wash it afterwards.
So every other time you forgot as well then?
Most of the time recently I've done it. I don't think I did it today, but maybe I don't do it as cleanly as you do it. Anyway, this is boring. We'll carry this one on. I think we should get on the way. We will carry this one on because I want to clean the bath. I really do. But whether I'm capable of it or not is another thing. I really do. I've got the best of intentions, but I just...
Do you not remember the time when you seized the opportunity where I said, actually, I like doing it because I know I do it properly, and you said, yeah, I like that, because you knew it meant that I'd fucking do it and you don't have to do it.
She does do it really properly, because when I don't do it, then it doesn't just get done, it gets like triple done. She'll like domestos the bath and everything.
I never know where you've been, you see, Matt. It's like...
Yeah, gay guys see, out every night,
It's that age-old bloody illusion, isn't it? Like,
yeah. It's fully sterilised, when you get in it, like...
Anyway, sorry
Clorox.
to fucking go on about this anyway.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. But I think H&S is the good balance for my stupidity and male general sort of, lob-on behaviour. So, there we go.
So you're going to clean the bath out tonight then?
I'll try. So, here we are. Roger W. says, hearing versions of the truth is not boring, it's sometimes enlightening, especially when it reveals a version that we might not have thought of ourselves. And Sonia says, yes, she is.
I don't know. But that's a good point when someone said about versions, different versions. That's enough. Like when I talk about a waste of energy or have I got anything I can learn from this person, that's kind of what I mean. It's like a different take on things, a different perception. Can this person deliver me a new idea or something? And I think that's what's missing, and that's what we're too busy bloody bickering and scoring points with each other. When you do that, you're backpedaling.
Yes.
You're returning to infancy.
Indeed.
Not maturity.
Indeed, which is what I'm just about to do here by revealing the Hatherwood totem bowl. He bleeds bitter out of his eyes for me.
Hang on, if we just... was that just a wasted energy? I'm sure we just got some negativity coming there.
No, there'll always be negative. This is a good balance. You get good and bad in the channel. Let's go for it. What?
This was going on when I came up.
See, she can read this whilst the things are going ahead. I can't.
What boring version of the truth have you revealed to yourself, Keith? What have I done now, Keith? Lamp, your alias. Who are you? No, not wasted. So I don't know. What's all that about?
But people are just trying to get a rise. I mean, it's not it's only negative if you take it badly. I think that with this stuff, you've got to remember that people are always trying to go.
No, I'm not satisfied with that, because I actually like what Keith's saying. He's saying if you've got an alias, fuck off. You ain't respected. Your opinions ain't worth shit. And I agree with that. It's like, because you're coming in at a disadvantage to hide who you are. But
you can't expect some people to reveal who they are because of the nature of what they're doing with this stuff. I think, because of the illegality.
Yeah, but
and
if you're going to have an alias, then you lose the right to attack anybody or challenge anybody. You lose that right if you don't identify yourself. When someone calls you a mobile phone and they say, you're Matthew Williams, aren't you?
Yeah.
At what point do you say, yes, I'm Matthew Williams? Well, hang on, who are you?
Well, I don't say I'm Matthew Williams on my phone ever, but you know the reasons for that, and it has something to do with credit cards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, anyway,
but I'd never admit to that.
But anyway, But my point is that, you have to start off on even Stevens. Like, if you're just gonna, lurk in the bushes and fire rocks at someone's window, then you're exposing yourself straight away as somebody who's here to menace, who's here to make you feel bad, make you bring out the worst in you, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, no, you could just be putting across a point of view that it would be hard to do if you revealed your name and your details because you wish to remain anonymous because you're a circlemaker, which is illegal.
You gain the respect as a mystery person.
If mystery person is being nasty, he's obviously showing himself up.
That's what they're doing. These people that are hiding their identities are attacking people, and I'm saying that I don't believe that's right. Anyway, I wouldn't do it.
But are they attacking people with a long-term objective of getting the person they're attacking to tell the truth?
That is what I mean by I've got nothing to gain from that person because I lose the ability to challenge that person. I can't find out anything about it because they're secret. So to me, it's like.
And GBC says Agent S is an alias. Well, we've already dealt with that.
I'm Shelley. Yeah.
Yeah, we only chose that to see how people would react because Shelley doesn't really care if she's known as Agent S or Shelley, and I said no, go as Agent S and see how people react. I think that was my sort of
Yeah, you got Agent S. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see how people react then. Whether they like it or not, and then you can always reveal later on if you want to, and just because you don't care. But keep everybody on an even keel, and we'll just make them all agent something. And then if you want to reveal who you are later on, which you have done now, and somebody else did, and we did by mistake, didn't we?
They've only got to look on your bloody Facebook to find out who I am, innit? There's anyone with initiative's done already. That's what people like Sonia did, Darcy, and was it Darcy or someone else is on my Facebook? Although I say that, but I've got rid of them all now because I didn't want to get involved in all this bickering.
Yeah.
And I've openly said that's why I did it. But everyone's available on Skype still, which I'm very happy to communicate with them. Okay,
well, I think because it's 24 minutes past 11, and I was going to stop this one at 10, but you came in and so wonderfully
I didn't know that.
Invigorated my my show with your presence. Then it's not my show. It's CirclemakersTV because I'm like Mr. Ego. It's my.
You're unaware of the I pay a price when you mouth off like that about people. I've already So, I've said what I've said.
Oh, look, somebody's attacking Shug007. Shug007, right, is somebody I know and has no interest whatsoever in crop circles.
Yeah.
So probably.
Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. Right.
That's the person that made the reference about my past.
He doesn't know you.
RL?
He cannot know you. I know who that is. Do you know, that person doesn't even live in the UK. And I tell you what, that person doesn't know anything about you.
Yeah, but this
But
is what people do.
but has met you. And how weird is that?
Really?
This person doesn't know anything about you, but has actually met you, but doesn't know anything about you, and has met you, and also doesn't live in the UK. And I'll fill you in later on.
Yeah, well,
You'll be surprised.
mind your words there, Matt.
Yeah,
You will not be filling me in at all.
Okay, there you go. See, yeah. Well, they're not even a circle maker. They're not. I don't think they have any interest in crop circles at all. It's just somebody I met at a friend's party, and you were down there, and I got caked in gunge. And there was somebody there. That's who it is. They're not from this country. Working it out yet? Who was at that party? Anyway, this has been Circlemakers TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. God knows what it means. God knows whether we should be doing it. God knows whether we're complete idiots. And thank you very much for all your comments in the channel. They've been an inspiration and a shock to many, I'm sure, in the fact that we've got all this now on the web recorded into the stream tonight. Let's see whether or not we can do it next week and maybe not do the old names thing, but, keep it as interesting. I'm sure people will giggle when they watch this. It might even distract, because, some people said it's going to distract people if they're seeing all this chat stuff, because they can't concentrate on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens, but at least as a technical challenge, I've shown I can put the chat in the channel live. So there we go, and nobody can complain now. They haven't had their points raised, because at least they're in channel and everybody gets to see it. So, ha. Right, okay, we shall speak to you soon, and thanks very much for tuning in. And any questions, email us, and any suggestions for the show. Even if you want to come on yourselves, please let us know, and we will get you on. Might even have a little Circlemakers TV party soon at the Barge Inn. We'll get everybody who's viewers to come down, including some of the secret guests who won't reveal their identities and just pretend like they're just normal members of the public. But you might be brushing shoulders with Circlemakers. You won't know, because they won't tell you. So it'll be really good fun. Ha 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 ha. So we'll let you know more about that soon. So all the best, and thanks very much. Catch you soon. Them wankers in the chat channel, I'm gonna fucking murder the lot of them. Yeah, as she said, cunts.